it's my fate to let you go. You feel hate when I'm around you, but I know you won't let me go. Come, I have to leave you. Don't know how, 'cause it feels so right. It's just you I have to break through, but I know you will win the fight. So close to I'm down inside of me. So close. Drowning inside of me, so close to see. I'm drowning inside of me, so close to leave. When I know there's no relief, so be free. Still don't know why it's so hard to see. Why do we need to care about it so much? Nothing to guide me. Can't nothing to see you losing your mind. I walk this way and nothing to find. What you thought, what you did, it's over now. Please to believe me. I'm nothing to believe in. Try not to think about the end. I'm not afraid and I know we rise from the fall in the shell. I know the one who needs from help. Jump in the dark and the
Well, CS greetings to you all. Mr. Prof, can you hear me?
I can.
You can. Well, that's a huge relief. I'm glad things haven't broken.
What is the danger?
Indeed, knife round, who cares? Valiance and Co versus KPI Gaming, and it is ESEA Main Europe Playoffs Round 2. And of course, we have covered Valiance on a number of occasions, so really cool to see them making it this far.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they got a big event coming up for them. A couple of weeks. They'll be going to Marseille for the DreamHack Masters tournament, and they got a bit of a dud group. Not the greatest situations, but I guess we'll talk about it as the game goes on. Right now, Valiance and Co will be playing for the second game in a row, second series in a row rather. Will be starting on Cobblestone, and neither time have they picked it.
Yeah, indeed. So I don't really know what to expect. But let us expect a good game, yeah. Valiance and Co versus KPI Gaming, Cobble, round 2 of the ESEA Main Europe Playoffs. So going into the pistol round, CZ side for Valiance and Co, probably not where you ideally want to be on this map.
No, I don't think so. And they've actually misstacked the sites. I mean, I can't imagine you'll be hanging around A for too long, since generally A is, or the extremities of A, taken quite early as it is. Valiance have got to fight a 5-man stack with 2 players, and it's not going to work. Letney goes down. It's all up to Hunter, and he's going to take a bop to the head.
Not in a good way. 8 HP for him, and Spray whistling past there, but they are still 4 alive for Valiance. So you'd think with the bomb down, a retake is potentially possible, and Neno going to be getting the first kill there. That's great work from him. Everybody dying.
Yeah, enemy just clean shots there as he does remove it. Shaxx push through the smoke. That's going to catch Neno from behind. Enemy, he's now got to get a 4K in order to win this round for his team. He's making a hell of a lot of noise, elephanting around, and he's not even aware of the player.
Oh my word, really?
He's getting trolled massively. Shaq is just stuffing around a little dead. Shaq, I mean, that's icing on the cake in terms of humiliation, because he does actually still kill him.
What a shame there. that got to sort of comedy when he got onto the second revolution there. It's just, by that point, you know, okay, well, I should stop. This is just getting silly, right?
Yeah. But
so 1-0, Valiance and Co down. KPI with a good start, though, of course, a Spanish organization. Only one of the players is actually Spanish, though, and that's Ziki.
Yeah, although 3 do live in Spain. And Impulse, he's going to be heating up, and it's going to leave enemy, unfortunately, to fight all alone. Enemy goes down, Impulse soon after, and Valiance and Co already in the sort of situation that you don't really want to be. And KPI Gaming are going to abuse the fact that Valiance has rotated off B side. Sounds were heard by the players in drop, so they will have called the rotate now.
Only going to be one player, and that's going to be Hunter, waiting to receive him with that CZ, but I don't think the CZ has quite enough bullets in it for 5 players.
Yeah, it's going to be unfortunate. Emenk is just holding the flanks, and that should potentially convince Valiance that it is going to be an A take, but it is taking a very long time, so it could likely be that Letney goes down. Another clean, crisp headshot there as Hunter on the other side has fallen.
Nice and easy does it for KPI Gaming, under no real pressure at this stage, and I guess they'll be waiting for the buy round to really feel the force of Valiance and Co, because so far they haven't shown much of it.
Yeah, there hasn't been a hell of a lot. I mean, you can't really expect much on Cobble pistols. They aren't the most commonly won force by rounds by any stretch of the imagination. KPI doing the good old MM strat. Seems like a bit of a rush towards the B side.
Yeah, the stack completely out of place to deal with that, and of course they've only got the pistol, so I'd say the round win is probably the least likely thing to happen in this round for Valiance and Co.
Yeah, Letney's also not really in position, and he's going to get caught off as a result. Zelen holding what is essentially the flank in this situation, but KPI Gaming should get in, get a bomb plant for the second round. Second time in 3 rounds, and Zelen just cleaning up some kills.
Nice and easy does it. Impulse nearly getting himself a kill there, but enemy will round it out at least. Zelen again jumping in with some kills there. He's doing pretty well so far. Got the triple kill in this, and he's going to be mugged there at the end by Emenk, but they won't be too worried. 3-0 for KPI Gaming. Great start for them. Valiance now will bring out the double AWP, which I'm not always a huge fan of on Cobble.
No, it's a bit of a shaky decision very often, but Valiance and Co. I will say the one thing that they did go pretty light in the second round, which is slightly unusual. There was a couple of players that didn't buy up fully, which has allowed them to get this. They are fairly light on nades, especially towards the B site area, but in general, they certainly have the weaponry capable of dealing with this. KPI hasn't actually upgraded fully.
Yeah, still got 2 Galils alive, which is not necessarily the end of the world. It's not the worst gun, but it's certainly far and away weaker to something like an AK. This angle from Impulse could potentially cut them off if they walk into his crosshair. Not going to catch it though, because Zelen is where Order Director wants to be. We're at its mercy, of course.
Yeah, Shaq this time left behind, and he is going to be killed off. Unfortunately, triage, it seems, from KPI Gaming. They can't afford to save him, so they'll leave him to die.
I would say that in that situation, should you ever find yourself in it as a matchmaking player, don't do that. What Impulse did. That's a very bad idea, but at the pro level, you can make it work.
Yeah, I mean, he did have a teammate to help him out. Hunter's gotten aggressive on the B side, though, and this looks to be the call to action for KPI Gaming. They're not going to rush towards the B side. They're going to catch Letney running into open spaces as a couple of players dropping from either side. And Meach trying to be sneaky, hiding in the smoke here. Does he get his timing correct? Though he does indeed, and that catches him a kill. It's all up to Emenk and Ziki now. Very little in the way of utility, and weaponry not fantastic either.
Oh my word.
Impulse styling as he removes Emenk, their enemy. Has spotted the player. I was wondering when he would. And they've got him locked in and hooked and fried.
Great work there from Impulse. Gets himself the triple kill. I love how he shot him through the edge of the statue. I'd even say the fat part of the statue. It looked like it caught quite a bit of the statue. And then he no-scopes him as the follow-up. That was some style. Could have unraveled there for Valiance, I think, when Hunter was caught being so super aggressive. But KPI just didn't take advantage of it. I think that drop fight was probably the crucial one.
That definitely was. Well played there by Enemy to time it correctly. Oh, decent damage on the grenade there. Hunter, of course, for anybody that doesn't know, is the cousin of FaZe superstar Nico. So they're going to be playing for the first time in quite a while at a LAN called the DreamHack Masters Marseille in about 2 weeks' time. So,
jeez, that tournament looks stacked. I'm so excited for that one.
It is mega stacked at this point. I think they said the other day that the top 12 teams in the rankings are all attending it, so should be hugely stacked. Hunter, he's going to be the first man to spot. Yeah.
Oh my word, Hunter.
Double.
And insult to injury, the nade lands on Ziki, drops him to 14 HP. Ouch.
KPI hasn't even seen a player, and they're like basically 2.5 players down at this point. Zelen is going to jump in. Should have made noise, and he will have been heard. Can Valiance and Co do any more here, though?
They look like they got a firm grasp on it, but if KPI can maybe get an isolated player or two getting aggressive, maybe they can put it back. It just doesn't seem like Valiance in this particular round are too excited about pushing. They've already got the advantage, and why should they?
Well, yeah. As you say that, Hunter gets caught out. Valiance just playing the percentages at this point does look like KPI is already on the way towards saving, except for good old Zelen. He decides to poke his head in a window and proceeds to get it slapped right back out.
Neno there with the world's slowest reactions. It seemed he sort of regarded him for a second, so it was actually an opportunity, I think, there for the KPI player. But nonetheless, it will be around here for Valiance and Co, adding to the tally, so it'll be 3-2. And Mr. Tazzy, thanks for showing up, man. Good to see you, and thank you for the kind words. Appreciate it.
Always good to see Tazzy. And Valiance and Co, well, I mean, slight recovery, 2-3 at this point. They are looking, I wouldn't say healthy in terms of the economy. It's certainly better than they were a couple of rounds ago, and better than KPI Gaming, which is all you really want to be at this stage. KPI managed to save 2 players, so they're forced up. But KPI still, I mean, very, very, I wouldn't say favored, or oh, what's the words that I want to use?
They're in there somewhere, Prof.
Yeah. I'll just have to open up the dictionary and get them. Yeah, I mean, look, KPI at this moment, it's early days. It's not really the end of the world. Obviously, you do want to probably win the round as tees, or win the half as tees. But at this stage, 3-2 is not looking too shabby. They're still okay in terms of the weapons they have. Utility's great. money's not, so they can't afford to lose this round, I don't think.
And obviously, Pizzito also on pretty slim pickings there in
It's
terms
the best
of
gun in
weapons.
the game, dude.
It is the best
talking
gun in
about?
the game, but it only has 12 bullets. You can't kill all 5 players with that gun unless you headshot everybody at, like, you know, with the gun in their snot pump, as
What,
Anthrax would like to say.
What, like most pros do?
Yeah, exactly.
Point blank range, just gun a guy, shoot a guy in the face. Because
This is an interesting
somehow,
setup, though, don't you think? Look at how Valiance are holding it.
yeah, that is. You don't usually see an AWP
Oh.
sitting in that area. Oh, enemy. He seems to be getting people delivered to him on plates at this moment as Shaq gets shot in the back of the head. KPI playing an incredibly slow round. This is probably the slowest we've seen them play this entire half. So they're very slowly taking map control. It does seem like a very execute type of play, but unfortunately you need to get rid of the AWP, and you're going to do just that if you're Emenk. As KPI is about to hit the A site. Valiance and Co does have a lot of time to rotate players in though, and this could go very south. Zelen is going to catch enemy in back, but Neno has already turned it into a 1 versus 3. A 1 versus 2 now as Zelen starts to take over.
Whew, I thought Hunter had that shot there, but he misses him. It all works out, and I think it's probably born off that early kill from enemy. I would have liked to see how that setup actually worked out had the smoke not gone down, because they were holding two really aggressive angles towards mid there. That's kind of why I pointed it out, because I saw action was coming. I'm sorry I interrupted you, Prof.
No, it's fine. It's 100%. I'll keep waffling on for days if you don't point things out to me sometimes. So, KPI, they've saved yet another play into this round, but I mean, this is by all means a Valiance and Co round, unless, of course, there are some Deagle shenanigans. But Hunter's got himself a cupcake.
Ooh, that
for
little
Shaq.
half jump. That was nice. The style.
Yeah.
Made the nade sort of do the...
Ooh.
Bit of an NBA three-pointer attempt there with that nade.
I mean, he landed it right at Shaq's feet, so...
And his name's Shaq. How
significant amount of
perfect is that? But there, Hero AK gets the kill.
Yeah, that was... I mean, I don't know why Hunter's holding that angle if he doesn't have somebody holding aggressively in the drop area, or at least holding from B side area in drop. I don't like that play if you're going to be, holding the more passive angle, or the more passive drop play these days.
Surely you would have heard the drop, though, you'd think.
Yeah.
Oh, the pistol's got a big opportunity to get the kill, yeah. Zelen, though, the object of the affection of Order Director. You can hear some kind of rotation going on, but nobody really moving too far away here for Valiance. Of course, the rotates on this map do take quite long, and I think they're through drop, actually.
Yes, they are. They're somehow onto B site with the whole
What?
of Valiance and Co rotating out. Okay, Letney's gone down, and that should indicate to Valiance and Co that you have somehow lost a sight to one set of armor and an AK. That's amazing.
Oh no, look at this. Everything is dying, and it's time to get out if you're Valiance and Co. This has gone completely south.
That's amazing, though. Like, Valiance and Co didn't even kill a player.
Yeah.
You're gonna win
Oh no.
on...
He is in so much trouble right now. Needs to get away. He's getting spammed through the wall and on 10 HP right now. I don't see a situation here where enemy lives through this round. And he's not gonna. Gets wall banged. They get themselves a bunch of free weapons. Do you think they're gonna keep the double ops? No. Okay, they threw it away.
Shouldn't be, yeah. No,
Good.
That would be foolish.
It'd be French.
Well,
Well, G2-ish at least. We can't paint all French with that
Well,
that particular.
I mean,
vibe.
Envy's not too shabby themselves. Either way, Valiance and Co have been punished for some silly mistakes and are now in an ego situation despite winning 3 rounds in a row. Somehow losing a round. The easiest round to actually win for them was the round in which they lost a bomb plant with 5 of the opponents alive. That was pretty amazing.
Does not make a lick of sense. Ooh, geez, Impulse doesn't know how close he came to wrecking faces there, but nonetheless, you'll be going for that aggressive angle up towards the suicide stairs, so...
Well, second time he's playing it. Second time he has enemy holding his back for him. Unfortunately, enemy this time only has a CZ, so if he does get rushed, not a whole lot that the backup can do.
Oh, that time they flashed it. Very smart from KPI, so... Sorry, voice got a little bit broken there, but there's somebody's head who got broken too. Enemy taking pain. Neno, the man to trade it out. And Emming doesn't quite get the angle before he eats a face full of flash.
Nope. Nano, though, is feeding facefuls of bullets to Shaq. As the Spanish team does go down to 3 versus 3. Somehow, they're still hanging on here. Our Valiance, not as much anymore as Bletney does go down.
That's a pretty comprehensive site tech, and of course there is the lurk in place here as the bomb goes down that could potentially strike. And well, we're seeing some potential for strike here, and he actually gets sprayed through the middle. That's some strange stuff. Zeke getting himself a kill. Neno does have an opportunity with one of these players low. He's just not going to be looking at the right angle, and then suddenly readjusts perfectly. He does not have the time though, and Zeke knows this. But he's going to get the kill anyway.
No, that he does. Does he have enough time? He's going to hold it.
Yeah, I think he's got it.
I think he's got it.
Well, there we go, folks. That was some crazy, crazy stuff around that Valiance probably had no real business winning, and they won it, and we just saw the same thing happen the other way around for KPI in the previous round.
Okay, so for anybody that's only using auto director, essentially what happened was Neno got backstabbed by an AWPer, Emenk, killed the AWPer, ran into B site, won, and then got a 1v2 victory. And still had time to defuse. That's crazy.
With no kit.
With no kit.
What is this crazy, crazy stuff? The other crazy thing is every time you say Shaq, I imagine that gif of Shaq where he's shaking his shoulders like the cat.
Oh, when he's it's Shaq excited.
Yes, that it's from an American ad. I think it was for like Wendy's or something. You know,
Shaq.
Whoa.
No,
Positor
not
nearly
get too
getting himself
excited.
one. But yeah, I just every time you say Shaq, I was just imagining that gif.
I mean, both these countries, Valiance and Serbia and Spain do have some basketball players, so I wouldn't be surprised if Shaq is at least partly inspired by that.
Undoubtedly, buyer for Valiance and Co. not the greatest that has ever been, but I guess you could say the same for KPI, although there's arguably a little better.
Yeah, well, arguably, I don't even think is.
I'm trying to be diplomatic, yeah.
3 AKs versus some shotties and a US.
Oh, the shotty though. Oh, the shotty finds one. It finds two. Is the snacks? No, it was Hunter, but he's dropped him to 2 HP. Zeke on low HP, and what is Letney doing there? Not the greatest idea out of him, but it is still a 3v2, and with the AWP on the angle, it's going to be tough for them to get out there, and tough for them to cross.
Incredibly tough, and if you're going to slow peek the angle, it's going to cost you big time as Impulse teaches Emenk a valuable lesson there, and Zeke is going to kill off Nano. It's a 1v2. Not beyond the realms of possibility, as I say that.
Get wrecked.
Yeah. Enemy puts the dots the I's and crosses the T's on a Valiance and Co round. 5-4 at this point for the CT side. The Serbians, or the Eastern Europeans, looking pretty solid at the moment against the Western Europeans.
Quite so. 5-on-5 early round, but not 5-5 on the scoreboard. It's 5-4. And the way things have been going, it should be 5-5, right? Because they've got pistols.
Could be. Impulse is going to land the mother of all nades, a single hit kill with that, but he's going to go down. Well, actually, a teammate is going to go down.
I told you.
Just not watching the angle and what is going on here. Hunter's having to come in and fight at range with an MP9. He's not going to be up against an AWPer. And Hunter cleans up the round with an MP9 at range. That is some crazy stuff.
Mind blown. That should not have happened. I mean, I joked about it, and it nearly happened. Valiance and Co are just showing a propensity for not dealing with the pistol rush very well at all. They're not using the utility to slow it down. They're trying to take up the one-up duels, and unfortunately, when a P250 is right in your face, it wins a lot of the time because it's got the mobility.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're fighting 2 or 3 of them at once, as Valiance and Co seem to be playing a very individualistic style here. KPI, a lot more pack mentality type thing. Boost over the smoke.
Do you notice every time we've casted Valiance and Co that Impulse has a different picture and it's always different to his teammates? Oh, jeez. He must have given him a shave there. No more arm hairs.
Yeah, Positor probably panicked a little bit when he heard that bullet flying past his arm. Either way, Valiance and Co I mean, clever little idea there with the boost, but it's just not going to quite work out. Shaq has somehow found his way all the way into sight. Impulse having to do a 180 to try and save it, and save it he is as he grabs himself a third there with some assistance from enemy, and it's all up to Bazuta, the man who somehow dodged the bullet from Impulse. He's going to catch a nade though. There's Impulse. Not going to fail the second time.
Guy is mad with an AWP at close range. 4 kills. He's shown himself to be a skilled player. He was the only player that looked good when we saw them a few weeks ago against Naruki Esports on Train. And continuing with his good form, he was great in the DreamHack Marseille qualifiers. The only thing I will say when we're mentioning DreamHack Marseille is I'm a little bit worried about that group that Valiance are in for that one, hey?
Yeah, they did not draw a good group for their own pride, I think, as one of the teams in there is SK Gaming. Hunter is not looking too shabby. Neno is going to try and contribute, not so successfully though, unfortunately, as the mollies do now come in. Valiance and Co should be able to pick up another round here as KPI on yet another save, and yet again Shaq is doing some huge damage.
I feel like we need some euphemisms for like 3-pointers and stuff, because the name again says basketball, and there's Zeke getting himself a kill. Impulse goes in with nothing but a USP against the full HP player. Lucky he didn't have head armor.
Very, very lucky. Taking a chance there was the Valiance and Co player. The AWPer at close range decided to put out USP. Interesting that he's still running a USP when he could have upgraded to a P250 or, I mean, Eagle, I know is the other favorable one.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. Guess he doesn't feel he needs it. We've seen how good he is with pistols close up. They are going to allow Shaq to get the dunk, but will they allow him to complete the play? Actually, they will. He gets the bomb down. He dinks him, but it's not enough. That will be the defuse, and Valiance and Co doubling the score now of KPI Gaming, 8-4. Looking good for them on the CT side of a map that is not traditionally all that CT favored.
No, I mean, they've actually won the half. I mean, there are some players that do believe that it's not as T-sided as players used to make out, and I suppose, given the way CSGO goes, it does change over time. I mean, I remember, I think it was Snappy at the beginning of last year, or might have even been 2016, saying that he believed that it was CT-sided if you had the utility, which Valiance certainly does. KPI Gaming, though, do they have the power to break the Valiance and Co walls? Because at the moment it seems like the siege is not very successful here.
Indeed, so a lot of pressure towards drop, potentially about to before Valiance should they decide to force the issue. KPI Gaming, enemy playing a quite passive sort of hold, and the smoke will hold him off at least. Auto director, does it know something we don't know? Let's see. Yeah, it knows that he's getting shot.
Okay, Hunter. That was obviously the play he was trying to make earlier. They've lost 2 players for that, though, and has Valiance, so still not a great situation. It is going to force a couple of the KPI players to consider the rotate, and you can see they're trying to move, but again, this aggression from Valiance just seems to be costing them so much. I don't know why they decide to keep pushing through that damn smoke. Like, you know, one player does it, cool, but like, why push a second one through? Because now you're in a horrible situation where KPI Gaming can drain out the time. They certainly have a massive utility which they can easily exploit, and it leaves Valiance and Co now needing to win. I mean, I wouldn't say a hero round, but certainly not a round that they should have had this close.
Definitely not, being overzealous in terms of the aggression. Guess maybe they're feeling it. Was it peer pressure? They're just like, hey guys, I'm doing it, you should do it too. And Impulse, he's certainly doing it.
That flash actually wrecked
him too, but he's wrecking them. I was going to say, you've got to probably bank on Impulse to get these kills. He does get denied the final one, but geez, his style up close, he's so efficient with the AWP in these close engagements.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue for him there was, like, as soon as he got blinded, he should have been dead. But what happened is the KPI Gaming flash that came through blinded both him and I think it was Emenk that was at close range with him. And with Emenk getting completely blinded there, it meant that Impulse got a free 5-second life there, and it just didn't help out KPI Gaming at all. They needed to make certain of that kill. Once they'd done that, I think they're home and dry. But again, well, they've finally gone back to a faster play here. Is Hunter up to the task? He's up to the first, not to the second. Shaq brings him down.
So some efficient entry work here from Shaq. doing some fantastic entry play around the fountain area. Gets the bomb plant. He is being pressured. If he gets caught with an 8 in the hand, it could be bad for him, but so far not getting punished. And actually the bounce of that molly favoring him beautifully. Burns the player up close on 2 HP. Zelen under some pressure. An impulse will get him. We're mentioning how good he is up close. They're going for the boost now. And, well, the boost's not going to work, so it's all on the AWP, and I don't think he can do it. No, he cannot. Shaq doing fantastic work. He comes away with the ace.
Fantastic play there. I mean, gets his team back into the groove of things. They haven't had a lot to write about in the last few rounds, but great play there by Shaq from KPI. And, I mean, the problem with Letney boosting up his player there is that he gives away his position at the same time. So, yeah, it's great. I mean, they obviously knew that is where he would have been in that general area, but as soon as you see the boost, you know the other guy has to be there. And
well,
KPI, speed.
Going for the rush against the pistols is going to work. The flashes are on point. Unfortunately, Pizzas has just outpaced his cover there. But they still do have the advantage. Yeah, it's only I was going to say the Deagle that could possibly do it. And the Deagle gets extinguished. So now these CZs need to get close. 4v2. I'm not feeling it for Valiance here. But Impulse, he's got other ideas. Hunter gets one. Looking for a bit more here, but he's about to catch a little bit of a nade. Actually, less than I thought he was. But Zelen will plant him in the ground. And that is the round there for KPI Gaming. 9-6. And for me, highlight of that half has to be that molly out of Shaq there, where he managed to kill the player on 2 HP by bouncing it off the wall so that it landed at his own feet.
Yeah, I mean, clever little molly, not one that you'll see used all too often as Impulse does execute Hemming there in the nice crisp clean shots. But in general, I think KPI Gaming, when they used speed, they looked a lot better. Against Valiance and Co, that slow play really did not work. It allowed Valiance to either set up into good positions, and even when they tried to exploit Valiance and Co's aggression, it just tended not to work. They took a huge amount of damage in killing the Valiance and Co players when they did push, but not really doing anything to combat them or, you know, get them out of positions with utility in any way. And it often just resulted in Valiance and Co having open sightlines. And we needn't say no more when you have players like Impulse as well as Enemy on your roster. They will do some severe damage if they're not going to be prevented from shooting at you.
Absolutely. So Valiance with a really good CT half. You got to say they should be feeling fairly confident going into the second half. We haven't seen much of them on Cobble thus far this season, so I'm not really sure what they have in store for us on the T side, but the individualistic style that they have, it could work on a map like Cobble.
Their T side versus team preparation was pretty solid. I mean, it is again based around, I think, more individualistic plays than a cohesive team unit, but they certainly have the players to exploit that pretty well. Their T side looked a lot better than team preparations, I will say that much, but I do think that there are holes in it.
Yeah, that was a great match. If you guys did miss it, the VOD is on the channel. You can go watch that team preparation versus Valiance. Particularly that second map was just absolutely lit. And let's hope that the third map let us down. Side here for KPI is lit so they can get back into it. It is Valiance and Co versus KPI, ESEA Man Europe, round 2 of playoffs. An Enemy, well, he's probing here and he's getting himself a kill. Takes down Emink.
Yeah, that'll be one of the players down. And Valiance at this point with huge amounts of map control. They still have quite a bit of utility, which will allow them to get up close and personal with those USPs when they do decide to execute. 2 smokes, 2 flashes. As Neno times his check well. And here we go, the smokes come out. That's enough to hold the B players though, and it should allow Valiance to get the execute down. Are they going to make any use of it? They're taking quite a while to actually get moving here, but they want to move as a pack. Impulse is going to go down. First man in. That smoke's actually missed on the balcony. That is a huge mistake in the context of this round. They need to clear those areas. And once again, Zelen is just killing players left, right, and center. Enemy's going to go down now.
So Hunter bringing it back, of course. Zelen being a nuisance here, and being such a nuisance that he's dropped another player low. Something weird going on with the view model here for me. I don't know about you. But, well, Hunter doing the dance here and looking for the kills. Nobody dying just yet. A lot of damage being exchanged, and there's Pizzitor coming in from the middle, finds himself a clean headshot, and that's the danger player out. He, of course, has the P250, so that would be the one long-range weapon they had. Neno, though, finds himself a kill, and Zelen on the backstab, and he will round it out. I thought for a second there when he missed the first shots and Letney turned around that he might get burned, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely no idea why Valiance and Co didn't at least try to get the bomb plant down there. They had a decent situation, although the player that went down low HP was the one with the bomb. I still think they should have made an attempt to plant it. As a result, it just gave the KPI boys way too much time to take aim duels, constantly push them, harass the Valiance and Co players, which meant that, I mean, Valiance and Co just didn't get into the side fast enough. They got the good smokes, but, well, should I say good smokes? They got one good smoke, and then they completely whiffed the balcony smoke, and that ended up costing the big time. That probably is the play there that gives KPI the entire round.
So there's the MP9 looking for a kill, potentially, and he'll find himself his own death as opposed to finding a kill. Meanwhile, Impulse probing around. We know how good he is with the deagle, and he's looking at that angle, so acutely aware that there could be a player there, and nearly loses his life in the effort. Still fairly passive from both teams, though.
Yeah, Valiance and Co, they seem to be gaining, like, it's also a passive hold, but it's a lot more. They get into those positions a lot faster. As you can see, Neno is going to take a little bit of damage. Just trying to recover that SMG. It's not going to be possible, though. But in general, Valiance and Co just takes a lot more control of the map. And, oh, Impulse, what are you doing walking with your gun out there, my friend? Sorry, with your knife out there.
Oh, everybody dying, yeah. Zeki getting all 3 kills in middle, nice and easily there. Hunter going to be the last man standing before he's lying flat on his back. All done there. KPI now draw within 1, 8-9. And for Valiance, it will be the full save now, so didn't really accomplish too much with that force.
Yeah, and yet again, Valiance giving KPI an opportunity to ruin them. Impulse doesn't walk down those stairs with his knife out. He probably gets at least some heavy damage onto Shaq, but doesn't. Sorry, onto Zeki. But in the end, Zeki gets the triple kill with that SMG, and huge money goes into his team's pockets. And Valiance will be. I mean, upset is one thing, but they'll be quite. I think they'll be quite mad with themselves as a result of that. It's 2 rounds now where they've had opportunities to do damage.
And they haven't done much with it. You wouldn't think they could do too much with it. Nothing but Glocks here either, and losing the initial kill as well. The Molly's going to hold them off too, so...
Fantastic flashes.
Yeah, very good use of the utility there. And another Molly going down, forcing them ever back. The KPI, very well-coordinated team here in terms of the way they're using the utility. For Valiance so far, I mean, it's going to be... Oh, look at Shaq actually pushing up here. He could find himself 2 players, potentially, and he does. Shaq, and the third for Shaq, so gets another huge cash injection there, does the KPI economy, bringing us to 9-all, and the first buy round here for Valiance. So what do they got to do, Prof?
They have to make certain that they catch the KPI players. I mean, KPI has given them quite a few gaps. They don't play a very aggressive A-hole, so there's no real challenges from the Valiance players. They also don't have an AWP. But I think Valiance, if they get into the right positions and hold, I wouldn't say necessarily hold angles, but if they push the right areas, they should be able to get in. Like this time, KPI's gone for a different setup. 3 on long. Hunter, he's going to need a lot of assistance if he wants to get through here. It hasn't been a hallmark as Emenk does get aggressive and ends up getting him a kill, but it's traded out.
And a bit of information there for KPI as well. So the Molly should give them some time to fall back, should they so desire. But interestingly, Zelen is actually going to stick it out here towards long. So hoping to potentially catch them off, I'd guess. And he might just. He does, in fact, catch one and going for a bite there at Impulse. But Impulse smartly deciding, I don't want any part of that. Letney, though, with the opportunity, and he takes it on Zelen. So bringing it back into a 3v3. The weaponry does slightly favor Valiance, but the HP favors KPI. Teetering on the brink is this round.
No, the one big problem here for KPI is that they've actually expended all of their utility at this point. They've got a single grenade. They do have 3 kits, so that is a big bonus. But Valiance does have 2 smokes, and they can abuse them here on the B side. The only player holding the site is Shaq, and he's going to have to fight at extremely close range. Are they going to send Impulse first? They are, so... definitely KPI can bring this into a 2v2 at the very least, because I don't think Shaq...
Team kill.
Okay.
That is
that's a
so
bit of a problem.
sad. He was low though, so it's not really the end of the world. Neno does go and find the other kill, which is at least going to allow the bomb plant. The bomb plant will come in and let me burning Zeke as he came through the door. So I was going to say it's all on Pizzitor to do something about it, but he's not going to be able to have any impact. It nearly went south there with that team kill though.
I mean, he was dead either way. I don't think the team kill's the biggest deal. He loses $300, but Shaq did, I suppose, more than you could have expected from him in that situation. He had an MP9. He needed to get the first kill. Does huge damage to what was left of Impulse's HP. I think he was on 38, so I mean, Impulse probably dies there anyway. But then gets to safety for long enough that the KPI players are basically on site or right outside the doors when Valiance and Co tries to get the bomb plant down. Had KPI just been able to hit a single shot, they probably win that round. But as it was, Valiance and Co just better aimers, I guess.
Oh. Catches the nade there. Well done, Hunter. He's left with 61 HP for that. Pizzitor potentially getting himself some visitors and drop though.
That he is. And Jiki, he's the man tasked with dealing with AKs when he's got a weapon that is far less expensive and far less deadly.
Do you think Impulse is trying to make them think that he dropped down there?
I think he's just making noise. I mean, I can't really see anybody being able to really hear anything unless they're in the danger area. And would you really hear that?
Yeah, I don't think
Don't know,
so.
CSGO is weird.
I was looking at his behavior thinking, why is he doing that?
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out. There are down drop though, so there are some actual drops that might make a difference to KPI's information in this round and their chances of winning it. However, there's 3 players on the A site. They've heard the player and drop, and there's been no rotation as of yet.
Probably still expecting a late play for A here, and that's why they haven't done anything. You can see the B-side players taking very, very defensive positions, and now the call does come through that there's absolutely nothing. They've got a player moving through the back lanes, so Valence has to go quickly. Orp is going to ring out, though, and that'll be Shaq taking out Nano.
Oh,
Grabs
Shaq.
himself a second.
And a third. Shaq just looking super good here. Pizzitor also rounding it out there, but Shaq under all kinds of pressure, and he hits the shots from the Shaq, the chicken coop.
Yeah, and I mean, Valiance and Co, I think the ones that will need to reevaluate what the hell they were doing on that run just took forever to get going there. I mean, by the time that they were losing players, it was down to about 10 seconds. So KPI Gaming, fantastic. Take a chance, push a player through the middle area, and as soon as they knew that, you could see the KPI players aggressively move towards the B area. But Valiance, a lot of mistakes at this point on the T side. KPI is looking very, very good, but they also haven't been placed under a lot of pressure. Outside of 1 or 2 rounds, KPI has looked pretty capable of dealing with whatever Valiance has thrown at them.
Undoubtedly, and for Valiance, I guess, when saying the word undoubtedly, they are undoubtedly experiencing some doubt now as to what to do. Because if you look at their money, it's almost double save territory for them at 1,400 on 2 players and 1,450 on another. It's almost worth force buying here because you're not going to have a proper full buy anyway.
Yeah, the problem with Valiance is, I mean, they haven't really been that great on these aggressive pushes. I can't see that working out either. KPI has played a very passive style on the CT side, and I mean, Valiance just doesn't seem to really know how to deal with it.
Yeah, so the map pick was KPI's pick, of course, and weirdly the next map is Nuke, which is not something you always see either. And the last map is Cash. What an odd series.
Valiance undoubtedly picked Nuke as a result of the demolition job they did in team preparation on Wednesday.
Yeah,
there's no other reason that you play that map unless you've gotten like some massive win or you specialize in it, because nobody plays that map like, oh, we're okay on it. Like, no.
No, we're really not. But
You either like play the map a lot or you auto ban it. There's no like, oh, we're okay with Nuke. It doesn't happen.
Well, getting up here quickly, there's the flash though, and the flash is gonna enable Zeke to get the kill. The P250 though replying, and in these close range engagements, KPI were really good in the previous half, but Valiance have looked less good, one would say. Still closing the gap here with Impulse getting the kill, bring us into a 3v3. Visitor pushing through the smoke and getting burned before not before he gets himself a kill. I think it is on Impulse, yeah, and in a 1v1. Shaq getting
1v1 with
close.
Shaq.
And Shaq's going to round it out, but that got way too close for KPI. They should never have allowed it to get that dicey at the end there.
No, and Valiance and Co doing a huge amount of damage, but that was a force-up, so that I think they need a little bit more. They're very close to winning the round, but unfortunately Impulse couldn't hit. You know, he had to hit that first bullet. Shaq got the opportunity to nail him with the AWP and duly delivered. So Valiance and Co at this point, faced with the prospect of allowing KPI to get to 12 and restack what are some very meager coffers. The Valiance boys will be once again debating what to do.
Yeah, well, as you said, they came very close to winning that previous round, so then the question for them is, well, do we try that again and maybe we win it, or do we save? Because if you look at the economy for KPI, it is shattered, so it looks like they're not going to try to force buy again, which is probably on balance the right decision, but it would be very tempting to try it.
It would be very tempting indeed. Balance though are just going to accept the reality of having to throw a lot of money KPI's way in terms of the kills and the round, but I mean it's economically smart to do so in CSGO, as Nano did catch a bit of the grenade there. Is his timing going to favor him though? They will spot the one player, and it does indeed. That backlane player just distracting Jiki long enough. Impulse is going to make a beeline for the site. He's going to get up to the site in time. No, Emeng will start cleaning out players in the back lines though, and that will be that. Valiance and Co, I still don't think they've gotten... No, they've gotten one bomb plant this entire half.
That is just crazy.
Yeah, T-side really nothing to write home about. As KPI looking pretty good on their map pick at this point.
Madness. 12-10 KPI in a pretty good lead here. Valiance and Co chasing the game somewhat. They're still within touching distance though. And for them, this round's fairly important that they get themselves back into it.
That it is KPI Gaming again. Well, this time they've actually stacked B-side. That's the first time we've seen them do that. There's got one player very close in the connector. Shax looked pretty good when he's opt from the chicken coop, and once again looking pretty solid. He's gonna smoke himself to safety there as Pizzuta is the man. But I mean, at this point, KPI has already got 4 players in the side. The last one's holding close to the connector, so Valiance and Co need to win fights, and they're not doing any of that as they go down to 2 players versus 5, and now it's all 5 inside for KPI Gaming.
Oh, he's hitting some really crispy headshots. And no, pushing through the smoke will get himself one there, but won't get much more than that. So there's another round for KPI, and they're looking pretty much in control on this map. And you'd almost say at this point, Valiance might need to be thinking about the next one.
Yeah, KPI on the home stretch now and starting to open up pretty well. Valiance not really certain of how to deal with this. They haven't looked good on their T-side at all. And I mean, it's like they don't even really, like, you can see that they like sort of know a couple of smokes or sort of know a flash or two, but in general, not a map Valiance seems to be very strong on at all.
Yeah, you would have thought T-side on this map would favor their aggressive aimers, but they just don't seem to have the coordination to use it on this map. Clearly a lack of practice on this particular one.
Yeah, I mean, there are a number of teams that don't play this map a whole lot. Of course, the most famous one would probably be Astralis. They want nothing at all to do with this map. Never have, never probably will.
Typically, I want nothing to do with this map either, but teams like to play it, so therefore we cast it. And nobody's getting anything for Valiance through the smoke. Pizzuta taking him down, and that is 14-10. Looking pretty good for KPI. Valiance with another buy, but will it be their last?
Probably is their last. I mean, the next round they would have, I think, a full round loss bonus, but it's still not going to be looking great, as they have spent everything.
Going all in at the poker table and on the field of battle.
Old mom's crockery as well, to make certain that you got the weaponry. And for the first time, a bit of aggression out of KPI Gaming. He has challenging that mid-hold. Hunter!
Oh! He peeked
How
it
do you
before
keep-
his weapon was equipped there. What was that?
I have absolutely no idea, and I don't think Zelen does either, as he's left to wonder about his life choices. Impulse back on the weapon that has clearly suited him best, the AWP.
Yeah, he is one of those players who does need that weapon. I think he is one of the better AWPers at this sort of level with an AK-47 as well. But you give him the AWP and he just kicks up another level.
A very good close-range combat AWPer, as the new saying goes.
Yeah, that is a popular saying. I guess Kenny S was a combat AWPer in 2015 in that case, right?
Yeah, Kenny S was just a god, I think. I mean, if you're going to talk about combat AWPers, the best description would probably be Fallen. He loves playing those super close-range angles where you rely on hitting just insane flicks to win fights.
Through the smoke they go.
Valiance.
That's enemy with the kill there. So getting themselves a fair bit of control, but they are meeting two players. Well, one player now. They're aware of where the second is as well, so he's not going to be long for this world. And isn't the push through the smoke also punished? And finally, Valiance gets something on the T side.
Yeah, KPI Gaming just not setting up any real crossfires there. Didn't really have a lot of time, but you'd think ideally if somebody's going to be holding down near the connector area in lowers, you'd at least have somebody helping them out from the top of the wall. But when I checked, there was no player then. Everybody deep back in the A site or still on their way towards the A site. So sort of leaving poor old, it was a Jiki out to dry there. Not really the way you want to be playing that situation.
Kind of feels to me on this particular map like we've been experiencing an inordinate amount of A plays for Cobble.
Yeah, I mean, that the problem is with Cobble is that we've mentioned this before, that there's just not a lot of variation in how to play the map.
Letney in a good situation. Impulse also gets the kill towards middle, and Impulse couldn't have seen more than a pixel. Finds himself ahead nonetheless. Emenk now the man who will be tasked with stopping this, but he only gets one, and you'd almost say that's not enough. They should probably save at this point.
They probably should. KPI is not going to be in the best economic situation. They would have spotted the player and Impulse. Quick trigger finger there, along with the quick reactions, and that is going to be the end of Pizuta. The last remaining player is Shaq. He's the AWPer. Almost certainly not going to be trying to take a fight. He will do his best to save the big green. And KPI Gaming will allow Valiance to get to 12 rounds.
So looking at the score as well, we've got a short moment here. Shaq the man still alive there on 27 kills. Zelen also on 24. They have been doing a lot of the work for their team here. For Valiance, only really Neno and I was gonna say Neno and Impulse, and then I realized Hunter's actually on 18 HP as he gets extinguished there, but not gonna matter all that much from a money point of view. Just feels to me like enemy who we're used to seeing being up near the top. He's almost bottom fragging at this stage.
Yeah, not having the great not having a great game. Letney also tends to chip in with some important kills, but those have been thin on the ground in this game for Valiance. So KPI, I mean, almost certainly going to be saving here. It'll only be a single save, as they do get a couple of upgraded pistols, but these were dangerous, to say the least, on their T side. Now, does Valiance make the same mistake on the CT side? On the T side as they did on the CT? Hopefully not, because KPI should by no rights win this round.
Yeah. How do you think our cost is going in comparison to Babam?
A lot less onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
A lot less onomatopoeia. Well, sorry, I'm just being cheeky. I'm looking at the HLTV page for the game. I noticed, yeah, Babam is costing. He hasn't costed in a really, really long time, has he?
No, he has. He's been casting the whole time.
Oh, really?
He just doesn't have 20k viewers now. He's got like 2.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, it look, he's decent. Rocks about 2k viewers, but I mean, after the initial hype, I think a lot of people probably just decided that it wasn't as fun as they initially thought.
I initially thought it wasn't fun, but I was in the minority.
Yeah.
I don't know how you
to
felt.
each their own. I didn't enjoy it very much, but that doesn't mean there aren't people that do.
True that. So, pause here. I'm assuming KPI potentially with the pause, or there's somebody at the door, folks. Let me take a pause. I don't know. tactical pause of some kind. But well, for KPI, I'd still say they're in a pretty good position to round this out. They have looked the stronger of the two sides in this particular half. Valiance, don't know if they've left themselves a bit too much to do. They should get this round, but if the first half is anything to go by, Valiance didn't deal well with aggressive and coordinated pistols nearly as well as they probably should have. So I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, KPI Gaming a lot less coordinated on the CT side with the pistols, I would guess. But those T rushes with the pistols did huge damage to the Valiance economy on numerous occasions. So,
well, we are being proven to be completely wrong about it being a T favored map, and the fact that both CT sides have looked the better. But I think that's more an indictment of the T setups from both teams.
yeah. I mean, KPIs, I think, has looked better than what we've seen out of Valiance in the moment as Hunter. Comboing well, Shaq starts things off as well. So KPI Gaming are going to catch a good timing, do some damage to Letney, but it's not enough. And all of a sudden, Letney rescues his team from what would have been the fires of humiliation. As Impulse now suspects something is up, as they haven't heard the last player. They would almost certainly guess that he is pushing somewhere, and probably pushing long.
Smart plant out of Impulse there as well. A lot of trust in his teammate in case that player was actually coming through the door. Now he's going to be facing the guy with the AK, so definitely got to be careful. The only one nade left on either flare, and it's the smoke. That's not already going to do too much in a clutch situation like this. He gets the kill nonetheless, and ooh, Letney gave him an opportunity there. Missed the first shot, but does find his head with the second one.
Yeah, again, I don't really know why. Was the player? I think it was Impulse was on site. I really don't know why Impulse was taking that fight. He had Letney watching the cross, so as soon as the player makes an attempt to go for Impulse, Impulse would have had the well, not necessarily angle on him, but he would have had assistance. So I think Impulse is getting a little bit impulsive, so to speak, and taking a fight that probably a good thing he got killed there, because you don't want that to be reinforced as a good idea.
Exactly, but he definitely has shown a propensity for extreme aggression, particularly with the warp, so that seems to be his natural play style. But sometimes I think for Valiance and Co it does undo them a little bit. They don't really have that much in the way of the sorts of players that might be a little bit more solid and dependable, shall we say, in terms of their approach to the game.
Yeah, no, that definitely is the case. KPI Gaming double AWPing this round, but very low on utility as a result. So Valiance, if they play their cards correctly, could come out ahead.
Yeah, actually big opportunity for Valiance here. I'd never looked at any point in this half until now, like Valiance were even in it. So the fact that they're here and this close, if they can steal this map away, they'd feel super confident going into Nuke.
Yeah, Nuke is not the kind of map that I mean, many teams even really practice these days. And there's double lurks going on here, one from each team. Jiki could break the back of Valiance in this round as the molly does come through. Emenk is going to be standing in it. And it's all up to Jiki. Does his timing work out? Impulse is going to go down. And Jiki is going to get the bomb. And that is the end of the round for Valiance, unless they can somehow win one crazy set of fights.
Doesn't look like it. Emenk doing some of the heavy lifting. He stood in at molly until he was on 13 HP, got the kill, and has gotten another as well. And ooh, he just misses that no-scope attempt. Shaq should get this though. And there's Shaq shaking the Shack, planting him in the ground. Yeah, there's a band called the legendary Shack Shakers in the 90s.
I did not know that. Then again, there's also a band called the Baha Men, which made one of the worst songs of all time.
I don't even want to know what it is then.
You don't know Who Let the Dogs Out?
Really? Is that who the artist was? Okay.
I think that was the Baha Men, if I remember correctly.
Wow, okay.
Could be incorrect. If so, I do apologize to the Baha Men, but they had a stupid name, so you get wrecked.
Double AWP again for KPI Gaming here, of course, because they did manage to win that round. Huge risk on their part to go for the double AWP. But, well, for Valiance, they are now in a really difficult situation considering they're by only 2 AKs. They got a MAC-10 and 2 CZs, so I guess it could work if they manage to run the AWPs down, but KPI have been super smart at keeping them at arm's length so far.
Yeah, that they have. Valiance is going to lose another player on the entry. That's going Shaq's way, and Shaq is just delivering left, right, and center at the moment as he's not going to land the third. Enemy up close and personal in the hut.
Oh no.
Oh, he's not going to check the corner. Alright. Either way, KPI Gaming clear out the site 16 to 13 in the end, and that is not the way Valiance and Co wanted to start off this match.
Definitely not the way they would have wanted to start it. So tough stuff if you're a Valiance fan, and of course if you're here for KPI, I guess KPI showing that they're capable. They're definitely not the favored seed going into this game, and for them, I think winning the first map, their choice, is absolutely crucial, because I wouldn't think that winning Nuke, which is the next map, is, well, it's probably not realistic with how Valiance play that map.
I mean, the aspect is that Preparation almost certainly doesn't play that map, so...
Oh, we could be wrong. Look at the air strafing out enemy there. But yeah, guys, we will be back in a couple minutes with that second map. The teams just need to switch servers, because the way the ESEA client works means that you have to actually change servers between maps. You don't stay on the same server, so we'll just be waiting for the new server information to show up, the players to move over and to ready up. So it'll probably take a good 5 minutes or so. So get yourself a coffee and some popcorn or whatever your jam is, and we'll be back in a few.
Yes, cheers.
Why should I run away? Here is tomorrow, just past the sunrise. My fingers are reaching out, 'cause we are believers, the gods of the skyline, and the curse can't tie us down. We've waited so long, we waited long enough. This is our right, this is our song, this is our moment in history. 10 million roads turn into one. This is our fight, where we belong. No one can take away destiny. So let the night cover us all. Stars will never fall. I try to remember, frozen in silence, our blood red beating cold. But oh, let the darkness always remind us to never let this go. Keep holding on, we waited long enough. This is our right, this is our song, this is our moment in history. 10 million roads turn into one. This is our fight, where we belong. No one can take away destiny. So let the night cover us all. Stars will never fall. Stars will never fall. So brave the dark, 'cause the day is ours, and there's nothing left to stop us. We are believers, the gods of the skyline. This is our right, this is our song, this is our moment in history. 10 million roads turn into one. This is our fight, where we belong. No one can take away destiny. So let the night cover us all. Stars will never fall. Stars will never fall.
I think that I'm alright. I think I'm not so tired. I just feel the pressure of that thing that I have in mind. I wanted peace, I wanted to be fine. I wonder why I cannot just sit for a while. I really want to see what it looks like. To have a moment I knew that would be mine. When the windows are all closed, like a picture of a time. When the future is the whole you're looking for. Save me from everything. Tell me where to find on my way. I'm just looking for something I can make in another day. 'Cause I'm falling down, fading away. 'Cause I'm falling down. This is why I know I just keep running. I was working fast and hard, never thinking about now. Believing I'm happy thanks to all the
And we are back. Greetings, Mr. Prof. You can hear me, I'm sure?
Yes, I can. It seems you and the server didn't really want to play Nuke.
No, it took quite a while for the server to actually get working, but now that it is working, the players are impatient to get going.
Crouch and right click. Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that. There we go. So Valiance and Co should get themselves the CT side. This is, of course, their map pick. This is ESEA main out of Europe. And Valiance, of course, disposing quite handily of team preparation the other day on this particular map after two very close maps before that. It was the decider in the series, so clearly feeling confident, and they've actually picked it, yeah, and I don't understand why KPI would even allow it in the map pool, but here we go. Let's see, can Valiance live up to the billing we're giving them as a good nuke team?
Well, I mean, they did pretty solidly on the T side, and against a team that wasn't really certain how to play the DTs, as Letney and Enemy are going to clean up pretty effectively here. And yeah, I mean, Valiance looked. I mean, we didn't even get to see their CT side, to be fair. I think they played 4 rounds on CT side.
Oh yeah, they were wrecking on the T side, and in that pistol round it was utter wreckage as well. 4 of them alive. Not a good look if you're KPI. First round up, getting slapped down that hard.
Yeah, I mean, against good CTC or a good nuke CT team, it is a pretty brutal team or map to play. As there's very little to help you. Every team seems to know the outside smokes, but no team seems to know how to use them.
Oh, right in the pocket.
Yeah. Jack gets a delivery, not one that he wants. Valiance and Co. This moment, not too stressed.
Moving around the map quite dynamically here to deal with the T side, and Letney there helping out his sniper quite smartly as well, just in the nick of time. Could have probably gotten run down there, could Impulse. So very, very defense out of the CT so far. And of course, they've got a huge weaponry advantage. So only the one player going down in the previous round. The side tech coming in here. And so far they're getting nothing. In fact, KPI get not a single kill in that round.
Didn't even really get much damage. Interesting that Valiance actually has Impulse playing ramp from the Hell area. It's not often that you'll see that. It's not entirely unknown. It does just require a very... I mean, usually an AWP is going to hold the angle. Impulse running with a scout at this point, so... I don't know. It's okay. It's just kind of iffy at times. Neno is going to go down. And Impulse is on hand with a CZ. He's going to go down as well. That's the most kills that KPI has gotten in a single round of the 2 thus far. Letney, though, is going to arrive. Enemy cleans the area up. And that'll be that. So KPI gets their 4th kill of the game thus far. And Valiance gets the 3rd round.
Nice and easy does it for Valiance, and well, courtesy of how many players they managed to preserve in those rounds. They've got a fair bit of money on 3 of the players. They actually got quite a good amount of bank. 2 of them, though, rather lower. So that's a curious one to me. Maybe those players just not really banking any money in the form of kills themselves. Oh.
Jack is going to spam for days and eventually does come out ahead. Does take a huge amount of damage though, and at this point, Letney is the man charged with looking after the outside area. He'll get Zelen. Ooh. Enemy knows the feel of many MM players right now, getting spammed through smoke.
Geez, that happened to you the other day, didn't it?
Multiple times.
I recall the tilt and the trigger that was going on. I think though, he actually does go down to enemy. I thought he would have the angle on him, but didn't. However, somehow enemy still getting a dink on that player. That's left the HP in rather a dire state for KPI Gaming. And he was on 30 HP. He shouldn't have been able to drop a player with an AK and full HP to 30.
No, he definitely shouldn't have. KPI Gaming is going to get themselves into a good spot, but Impulse, I mean, he just knows what's coming his way and will remove Shaq. And next up to the plate is Bazuta, and he goes down just the same. Impulse not quite saving the round for his team, but certainly putting the stamp on it at the end of the day.
Yeah, he started off well here, 6-1. Enemy also on 5-1. He was the guy who was a little bit quiet on the previous map, but the guy that KPI will be looking to, of course, would be Shaq with, I think he ended on 32 kills on the previous map, if I recall correctly.
Yes, he did. I mean, the problem for Shaq, though, is that this is an AWPers graveyard. There are very, very few AWPers in history that have consistently done well as a T-side player.
How are they avoiding damage here?
I have no idea. I would assume... Oh, okay, that makes a bit more sense. They were either ahead of the molly before it went down.
Even the nade hit one of the players, but didn't explode as it hit him, so he managed to get past it before it exploded. Crazy stuff.
Yep. KPI Gaming have gotten most of their players down the stairs. It's all up to Neno now. He's going to have to land a good series of shots. Get the first. Does have assistance from Hunter, though, and that's going to cause him to go down. Nobody's watching the vent, though, and that allows Ziki to get the dive and get the kill. Now enemy returns the favor, as it is all up to Zelen in a 1 versus 2. He's got a CZ, so certainly winnable. Doesn't really have the HP to back it up, though.
Oh, and there's enemy with the fast reactions. He needed that, because if he went down there, then things could have unraveled even further. So doing a good bit of damage, our KPI Gaming probably didn't deserve to get as many kills as they did, but they made it count, of course. And for Valiance and KPI, they're facing each other in a full buy round here again. And KPI didn't show too much the first time around.
No, they did not. Certainly made it close, but didn't make it to the point of victory. And at this point, they're going to try something else. They're going to start just clearing out those changed up windows.
I do like the new vents, skylight, shall we say.
I haven't actually seen much use of them. I mean, I suppose it's because we don't really ever see Nuke, but I haven't seen a lot of usage of, like change-ups on what you can do with those smokes.
Seems like Nuke has been quite frequent in matchmaking lately, probably because Valve are like forcing it in there. It must be, because there's no way people are actually intentionally searching Nuke, right?
Not that often anyway. No, catches a bit of damage, but not able to return any at this point. Enemy holding a very interesting angle, so that's an angle for mouth, which would probably indicate that Valiance has very little control of that area.
So is that smoke going to land outside hut, do you think?
Should.
So it'll be like a block. Oh, Hunter, what are
Hunter?
you doing? Oh, he was waiting for the flash from his teammate there, but it just didn't come in time for him to push the fire, and he roasts in the fire. So there's another kill potentially coming in, and it does actually get completed there. Was the fire that did it, but well, Valiance maybe giving away a few kills that they shouldn't have, and it's on KPI to take advantage now. Here's the first kill before the trades come in, and bringing it into a more even situation. Neno under a lot of pressure in the bomb site, and he's got 2 players bearing down on him. He cleanly destroys the other one, and in a 1v2, Neno can do it, but he needs to find the timing, and they're going to double peek him, so not possible for him at all, unfortunately.
Yeah, very difficult angles for him to hold there as he does go down. Valiance has actually dropped the players, so the match will be paused for now. Hunter fairly low on money, but there's enough players in the general vicinity of him with fat stacks to make certain that he will not be left out alone.
Indeed, so, well, we've lost a player here, so the pause coming in. Valiance versus KPI. Of course, if you didn't see the first map, KPI taking it, and this is Valiance's map pick. So rather in need of taking the map, and they've started off pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Nuke is that you do tend to need quite a few CT rounds. So you don't ever want to really give up any of them. And Valiance and Co has given the first one to KPI. KPI's economy is pretty terrible, though, so if Valiance and Co were to find their way to victory now, KPI would be back in the dumpster. And it would almost certainly get up to a 7-1.
yeah, that would be the case. 5-1. It's nuke. It's nuke. Why are we nuke?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of nuke, especially kind of with all the changes that have. Oh, he has the angle and then gets the kill. And as I'm bemoaning nuke, that's also one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't really like that area around main and squeaky there. It's so dangerous for both sides. You never feel like you're in a position to potentially take a favorable engagement. You get shot through the smoke at any moment.
That you can. Letney brings it back to even at this point. But yeah, this is just a very funky map. Zelen looks like he is setting up for an outside smoke. What? Is he setting up for an outside smoke? No, he's setting up for an inner smoke. It's got to be.
Yeah, he was actually in the same position in the previous round. It's that same smoke that he popped.
The smoke for heaven.
No, it's somewhere in sight. Doesn't seem to be.
Oh, it's to cut off the one area of sight. That I don't know. That
seems
that
a bit
doesn't
of
seem like a very good T smoke though.
Yeah, a bit of an odd one, but there are the kills for enemy. He's taking the responsibility on himself and gets himself to there. Letney also punishing. Neno here pushing off that B ramp area and gets the kill pretty cleanly. So 6-1 here for Valiance. And in that round, while we were fumbling around trying to figure out what the smokes were, Valiance were just calmly going about their business and destroying the hopes and dreams of KPI Gaming.
Yeah, good play there by enemy to push aggressively into the hut. Shots down the KPI push before it can really get going. They were probably waiting for the smokes to bloom a little bit more. He was on hand to punch them in the jaw before they could start the smoke and mirrors.
So a bit of a mixed bag here for KPI in terms of the buy. And hoping, I guess, that the AK will do what's required to get them a foothold in the round. Don't know if that's going to happen so far based on what we've seen, although on the previous map, Valiance did show quite a propensity for allowing in a lot of kills against pistols.
Yeah, especially upgraded ones. And Nano, ooh, that's the hero AK gone. Letney is going to make hard work of that kill, but does get it in the end.
Oh!
And that is not hard work at all. As Emek drops essentially into his crosshairs and allows himself to get shot. Zelen, the last remaining player, does have the AK, armor, and a flash. Can he make some magic work? I don't think it's going to be likely, but it certainly is within the realms of possibility.
Yeah, he was one of the better players for KPI in the previous map, particularly on the rifle. But, well, actually does get himself a kill. I thought the angle was very much enemies there, and he probably did too. So that rifle in the hands of Zelen, but not for much longer. And, well, Hunter will say, thank you very much. I'll take that AK, sir.
Yeah. Don't mind if I do.
Express delivery, 7-1 Valiance and Co. making it look easy, just like we saw the other day. Although we didn't see too much of them on the CT side, but clearly they are well versed on the particular map, and KPI so far showing not a ton of variation.
No, not really. Looks like the good old ramp rush
Oh,
and Valiance do that for players. They do in fact have two players stacked up, aware of the possibility. Neno and Impulse, mostly just Neno, having a field day.
Yeah, well, while we're going into another buy round, let's have a look at the scores here. And Letney up at the top, 12-3. Neno also up there. The two players you don't normally expect to be up there for Valiance are doing a sterling job. And on the other side, well, it's kind of slim pickings. Nobody really getting too much. I guess if you're a Pizzitor, you're probably not feeling so good with 1 kill for 9 deaths.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like most of his team has a huge amount more, so you can't really blame them all that much. KPI Gaming, once again, going to be trying get down into the secret area, but Valiance and Co have shown, I mean, I don't think they've lost the secret area execute even once, really.
No, they seem quite happy to let them down and then deal with them when they're there. Hunter getting really aggressive, and that could have caught him off if he was wrong on the timing, but it doesn't matter when he's landing headshots like that. Hunter, Nico's cousin, doing fantastic work, gets a third in fact, and he's going to be facing up against his cousin at DreamHack Masters Marseille. It's next weekend, right?
It is in fact the 16th, I think, of April. 16th, 17th April.
Okay, so a little longer than that, but he will be,
Yeah, it's about 2 weeks.
yeah, potentially playing against him there. And, well, only Ziki left alive. Down through the vents he goes and tries to jump on his head like Mario jumping on a mushroom. It's not going to work.
Goomba. It's a Goomba. It's not a mushroom.
I don't care what it's called.
The Mushroom Kingdom. But it's a Goomba.
Look at this
Get
man.
it correct, please.
I will try. I will try to get versed on my Mario lore.
Should.
It was the first game I ever played as a kid. You'd think I should know that,
It's the
right?
first game a lot of people our age probably played as KPI Gaming. Well, they'll be looking to play a different game. Hopefully one a little bit more successful than the one they've had thus far. They will spot Letney and do huge damage to him with the first bullet, but not able to land a single other one. Hunter, he's playing no games, and he will remove Pazuta from this one. There's lots of damage being dealt, but not a lot of kills being had, as Shaq does finally clean up the damage that Emenk started with. Neno and Hunter chime in,
Ooh.
and Shaq is laying waste with that Deagle. It's down to 2 versus 1, now to 1 versus 1. Impulse must have had his heart in his throat, but does clean it up in the end. Zelen goes down, and Valiance 10-1 up against the KPI team based in Spain.
That just feels to me like Valiants take the foot off the gas when they know they're playing against pistols. They take silly fights, and every time they get punished. And it nearly goes wrong there yet again.
I don't know, it's just Valiance and Co just seems very like a kill greedy team at times.
Oh, yeah. They made the jump easier, but it hasn't worked out for Zelen. Poor guy.
No, it hasn't. Did they make the jump easy? I thought they made the jump harder. They removed that whole little like rail that you could get onto it with.
Well, it's way easier compared to the old version.
Yeah, the old version was, I mean, if you weren't aware of how to jump there, you just sort of gave up after about 5 minutes.
Sort of rubbing up against the wall and not accomplishing much other than an intense burning sensation like he has in his head.
That he does. Letney is going to somehow dodge the grenade damage, but job done, basically. Done huge damage. Zelen's also low HP as a result. And Emenk somehow has taken damage as well, so it must be a set of nades that have contributed. This is the sneakiest angle I have ever seen. What the hell is that?
Jeez.
Impulse picks up Emenk, and I mean, I get hit by that shot, and I'm just like, what's going on? That guy must be walling.
That was the sneakiest of angles, and Neno also being equally sneaky, grabbing himself one, but getting a little bit too kill hungry, as we were saying there, sticking around once his position was known. These two players, however, are very low. It just does not seem, unless these Valiance players vastly overextend, as I say that Letney does exactly that. Maybe it's winnable.
Maybe it is. 29 HP between them. They're going to be making their way down towards the B site. The only player in that B site is Hunter, so...
Oh,
Zelen.
that is huge. The distraction there, sneaks in, gets himself the clean headshot on the plant. Hunter, though, is close enough to potentially punish him, as is Impulse. And Zelen needs to get there, and he needs to get there soon. She is there, and oh, the molly could be huge, but it missed.
Not really. That it does. It was a molly, not a incendiary, so if it travels too long, it does explode in the air. Smokes go down. That's spotted the player, and will execute said player. 11-1 for Valiance and Co, and the domination continues.
Well, would you look at that? It continues 11-1, as you said, and well, for KPI, they can't buy around at this stage.
No, they cannot. I mean, that was some good play there by KPI. Certainly, we're aware of the fact that Valiance would over-rotate into certain areas, and I love that little fake where they shot out the vents on on the lower site, and then killed, I think it was enemy in the A side. So, good attempt there by KPI, but just not really enough HP to complete the task.
They're looking to go for control towards Secret yet again, and so far Valiance have been pretty happy to let them, because Hunter's dealt with them rather handily whenever they've gotten down there.
Shaq copping a bit of damage through the smokers. Impulse is now the first man spotted.
Oh my word! Impulse with the CZ just eviscerating KPI Gaming. What is happening here? CZ to OP Valve, please nerf it.
Says the man who uses CZ almost exclusively. I mean, oh, Hunter is somehow going to get past Zelen's crosshair, and Zelen wanted to desperately chase him in there, and now Hunter right at his toes. That's not going to be fun for Hunter there, and he will get caught out. Zelen aware of his position and easily removing him in the end there. Letny, enemy, and Neno. Now the last remaining players for Valiance. Oh, that was confusing. It must have confused the hell out of Shaq because I've no idea how that door can open backwards like that.
Door obviously detecting something's close by, so opening in that direction. And Zelen dancing around. Yeah, he's certainly an adept player with an AK. And he needs to find kills, and he's going to find nothing. Walks away empty-handed aside for the money boost from the bomb plant. So Valiance and Co.'s reign of terror continues.
That it does. 12-1 right now. And Serbian-based team is all over KPI like a rash. Like white on rice.
Like white on rice, yes. I mean, even if you look at the scores, there's not really much to say if you look at it. It's just, it's domination from Valiance and Co. And we were questioning whether it was a good choice from KPI to actually allow this in. KPI clearly dealing with a fairly limited map pool on their part if they're willing to allow Valiance to pick nuke.
That they are. And Impulse continues the chime of bells as KPI moves closer and closer to what should be a funeral in their honor at the end of this game, because it's not looking good for the boys from Spain right now.
Of course, yes. The team obviously based in Spain, but 2 Portuguese players, a Spanish player, and then 2 Slovakians, which is interesting. Actually, brothers, as far as I know. I think it's Shaq and Emink.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe those are the 2 brothers.
Quite different in age, though. I think Shaq is 19, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, one of them is 19. I think the other one's 25.
Yeah,
24.
Quite an age range. They also have some fanciful stuff on their website about how the brothers push each other onwards. But it's not working right now, is it?
No, not really. I mean, this isn't a map that many teams play. Certainly not a map that KPI appears to play. So, I mean, can't really give them too much grief here, as once again things are not looking great for the boys from Iberia, as they have gone down 1 versus 5 and now a none versus 5.
It looks like they ran out of ideas about round 6 in terms of what they're going to do on this particular map, and Valiance have had no trouble dealing with it aside from when there was pistols involved, because then Valiance reverts to like a lower state of being where kills all that matter, right?
Yeah, headless chickens, as it were.
Bloodlust. Well, there is 1 pistol here, so let's see if KPI can use it well. Valiance, though, got everything they could possibly want to deal with any of the aggression from KPI. KPI need to find at least 1 year to give themselves even a hint of a chance.
That they do. That smoke is not going to favor Pizzuta. Thought for a second the Hunter might get caught out, but he is going to get caught out. Zelen with a quick drop. And just like that. Yeah, Impulse shuts things down. So that'll be the bomb down, and KPI, they get an opening or 2, and then unfortunately Valiance just closes whatever little hole has been open. Timing is going to work out once again for Zelen. The second player is shot in the back. Emenk, though, has brought this into a 2v2, and we've mentioned it before, but Valiance and Co, as soon as they are faced with lesser buys, they just don't seem to play correctly.
Oh, this timing could
Impulse.
catch Impulse, but he hits it. Wow, what a flick from Impulse. And he spots the other player as well, and you got to think with how aggressive he is, he's going for it, and he does. Could have been burnt there, and it could have lost him the round, but Impulse so confident in the AWP in his hands. It's like an extension of his will.
That certainly does feel like it at times, as Valiance and Co 14-1, about as good a round as good a half as you could ask for on the CT side. Of course, we have also seen CT nuke sides go 15-0 and then 15-0 in return. So it's not beyond KPI to win this game or win this map. Certainly is going to be a Herculean task though, since Valiance did look pretty solid on their T side against team preparation.
That they did. Well, pistol round. If KPI get it, they've still got somewhat of a chance. If Valiance get it, well, goodbye. Good night. And then we go to the third map, of course, which is Cash. So the series overall, Cobble, Nuke, Cash in that order. What a strange series.
Yeah, it's certainly not a series of maps that you'll see very often. As KPI set themselves up well. 2 players in the ramp, 1 in the rafters, 1 in mouth, and the last one in heaven, it seems.
So Valiant's not really doing too much just yet. Staying silent. Running in silent mode like a submarine.
Yeah, KPI walking into a stack.
Oh!
We'll lose a player, but get 1 killed in return as Impulse is now trying to take an ill-advised fight that could end up costing his team their lives. They don't want to continue that. But Impulse...
Oh,
Ooh.
that was dirty.
That was indeed dirty. And that was even dirtier. Enemy dropping in like James Bond and executing poor old Shaq.
Pizzitor up, yeah, he got the 1 dirty shot. Dancing around now, hoping he's going to find an angle on somebody so he can add to his tally. And so far, nobody offering themselves up just yet. And a little bit of aggression coming in here, and the aggression's going to pay off massively. Neno gets himself 2. And there's Neno tapping away at the guy at the top as well. And if he were to get this, which he duly does, delivers with a beautiful headshot, that triple kill has broken the back of KPI Gaming.
Yeah, that's the straw on top of the camel's back. KPI Gaming now have to win every single round to even have the smallest of chances. What they do have in their favor, though, is some rather nasty close-range weapons and 1 decent long-range weapon. Can they do it? It's not a map really for the Scout or the AWP. Valiance and Co got themselves 2 AKs and 3 SMGs. And speed is the order of the day. Ramp is the first point of contact, and Impulse is going to somehow whiff the kill, but Hunter is not. Grabs himself 2 kills, and Impulse goes down to the Scout player. But at this point, KPI in a world of hurt. They're going to need to figure out how to play this. Enemy just holding a filthy angle here, as he should get Pizzitor.
He does. They weren't actually necessarily covering the Blom plant all that well, but Shaq not able to capitalize at all. All he receives in return for his efforts is a shot to the back of the head, execution style. So there we go. Second map comprehensively in the hands of Valiance and Co. The first map, of course, won rather more narrowly by KPI, so that will take us to the third, which is Cash. And I've never casted a series with this sequence of maps. Never.
No, I don't even think I've seen the sequence of maps. Either way, I mean, have we actually casted Cash this season in ESEA? I don't think we have.
Once or twice. The American ESEA, certainly, not Europe.
Not the Euros, yeah. That's what I was thinking. Either way, guys, third map coming up soon. That will be Cash, obviously. 1-1 to each side. Letney and friends winning the second map on Nuke, 16-1. So quite dominating. But they'll need to bring similar level of play in map 3.
The sun has blazed my shoulders, it's hanging my shadow from the vagaries of my past. It's a story that's so familiar to anyone who's seen and done the same. So I'll explain how we're the sons of avarice. I walking forward towards my life, I could walk through every wall. I was 6 feet tall, outstripped them all, but I always wanted more. With the lies of the women are well to burn, but the rules don't apply to some. I did too much, it sparked a flame and the world fired it up, but I'm on my way. Withering from the flames, and I can't complain.
Cash, cash. I don't actually have a terrible rhyme for that, so I suppose that's both good and bad. Either way, that I did. In a really terrible way. Valiance and Co, KPI Gaming. Who is the victor of this second round matchup in the playoffs here? Valiance and Co coming in as the 6th seed, KPI coming in as the 11th. And both teams taking their maps, or their map picks. Yeah. Enemy and Hunter both low HP, so this is still favored towards KPI Gaming, as they will get a kill through the smoke on Impulse as well, just massively triggering their kind of kill for Valiance and Co. As Shaq is the one holding. He's going to do some huge damage to Neno as well, so I mean, might not have gotten a kill, but could very well have won his team the round. They need to take a fight with him. They do indeed win in that. Letney gets the kill there onto Shaq. 3 versus 4, but this is one of the hardest sites in the game to retake. The last remaining player. Yeah, that was I have no idea how the hell KPI lost that. Valiance had no business winning that. 3 players on low HP, 1 on high HP, and somehow KPI just let 2 guys through the vents who cleaned up the whole team. Yeah, welcoming. Yeah, quite welcoming. Ooh. Yeah, they will actually lose Neno once again to that range on the P250 Zelen this time doing the damage. Hunter is going to clean it up in the end. Pizza goes down. They do have a full set of rifles, but not a very good one in the form of that from us. Still, it's expensive for Valiance, especially considering that this will be a buy round from KPI Gaming now. And KPI, I mean, Valiance hasn't looked super aggressive from the A side, but maybe KPI starts things off with a B rush. It looked like they got it going on the pistol round. bit of damage. We've got a boost going on in Valiance. It's early round to use this boost. Generally, you'll see it more in the middle of a half.
Apparently I was muted. Thanks for pointing that out, Nick. I appreciate it, man. Been casting away here, man. Muted.
Ish. That's problematic.
Yeah, of course we're in TeamSpeak, so if the stream is muted for whatever reason, we would never know. So thanks for pointing that out. I do appreciate it. 2-0 here for Valiance and Co in a good position. And KPI posturing around, but they haven't really fully committed just yet.
Yeah. Fairly slow, much like we saw on Cobblestone. Didn't see much of anything on Nuke, to be fair, so can't really judge them based on that. But KPI posturing towards the A site at the moment. Valiance does have 3 players in the nearby vicinity. So certainly should be capable of dealing with this. And Hunter's going to start things off well. He needs to get out of position here as the late rotate through the middle area. He's going to get caught out by enemy. Valiance well up to the task at the moment of dealing with KPI Gaming.
Dealing with them quite well. Emming getting the trade there at least. So keeps them in with a shot, but it's not going to be much of a shot when Letney is doing things like that. Catches the shot through the smoke as well. And it's all on Shack, and well, he is in a shack of sorts, and he's going to be planted in it.
What on earth was Jiki doing there? Like, I don't know who flashed when, but Jiki basically ran in, had, I think it was Letney or enemy dead to rights. And then when enemy turned to shoot him, he's just like completely blind. I'm like, what the hell went happened there? That must have been a mistake by the players coming out of A.
Yeah,
not realizing how far Jiki was up the highway.
Popped a flash off the white box or something like that. Well, there's a kill for Neno, so duly obliging. And 3-0 so far, looking fairly unchallenged here for Valiance and Co. They definitely had no trouble disposing with KPI on Nuke, of course. So, yeah, I kind of hope for KPI to be a little bit more competitive, yeah, but of course it is a... Woohoo, that was dirty, dirty, dirty.
It was. Zelen continues the... I mean, at this point, you could almost say that it's a tradition to get at least one kill with the P250.
Very much so. So if you guys weren't able to join us for the first couple of maps, it was quite a close one on Cobble, KPI's pick. Then we went to Nuke, which still blows my mind that Nuke was a pick at all, but it was not close. It was, what, 16-1, so...
16-1, yeah. I think Valiance has lost 3 rounds on Nuke in the last 2 times playing it, so...
Madness. I guess you definitely don't want to pick that against them. And now we're on Cash, a very weird sequence of maps, particularly for the Euros, because we don't see Cash very much played in Europe. We see it in America all the time, particularly when we're casting Bravado. South Africa, it's of course a big favorite. The Euros don't like it so much.
No, not really. I mean, the Frenchies tend to play it on occasion, but not the biggest. Well, there's not many teams that are huge fans of Cash, and I don't think we've actually had a world leader on Cash in quite a while either.
It's true, it probably was NIP last year at various points, and then NIP decided to not be good anymore. So,
yeah, SK Gaming is also quite capable of winning on it, but never really enjoyed the map at all in any real shape or form. And FaZe was weirdly terrible on it, as Zelen is weirdly terrible at getting his head popped by Hunter there.
Was he good at getting his head popped? That's my question. What's the correct use of the language? But geez, he doesn't need language, he just speaks headshot, man. What a shot there.
Yeah, Jiki doing some huge work. Neno and enemy, the last remaining players, can they do anything here? It's a 4 versus 2. They do look like they are going to try this retake. Although, at this point, enemy is very, very far ahead of his teammate. And he will actually sneak into the site. That's a major mistake by the KPI players. That should not have been possible. Neno now just pushing out slowly, trying to control the middle area. He knows that there is the very real possibility of a late push through that, but it does look as though Valiance and Co has called it quits and will be saving on this round. They still have quite a bit of money, so just playing the economic game, making certain that KPI Gaming will find it a little bit expensive to win this round, but certainly putting them in position to putting them in position to be to have their money broken. Sorry.
It's in there somewhere, Prof. You got there eventually. It's cool. 4-1, Valiance and Co. Still in the lead. KPI finally getting a toe in the water, getting a little pinky toe wet there. Let's see if they can put the whole foot and maybe the whole body jump in and make it a competitive one, because it certainly was not competitive on Nuke. So on KPI here to hit back and to do some serious damage if they can.
That it is Valiance and Co running double orbs now, so it is very expensive buy, which puts them in danger of being pushed onto a low economy buy in the next round. KPI, no orbs as yet, so no real challenge to to Impulse and Letny. As Pizza just making noise around the squeaky door area. Will have heard the sound of a scope and taking huge damage for his tricks now. So he does get punished pretty heavily.
So Zelen in potentially a good position to get a kill, and he does duly deliver. Enemy getting a kill on the other side. And there's Hunter forcing out the... Oh! Running right into the fire, and he catches a bullet too before the fire finishes him off.
That's the second time Pizzuta has been caught in that position. Or was it another player?
This from Hunter. That is ballsy play. Does he get a third? He gets a third. Hunter is on a tear, and he manages to swap his weapon out. They're aware that Zelen could be somewhere around here, but no, they haven't actually spotted him walking out. So potentially he could cause some damage here, and he does. Gets a headshot. He must be aware that Hunter's in Squeaky.
Yeah, he must have heard the scopes as well from Letny. That's why he moved so quickly towards that forklift as well. And Letny... Oh, seems like Zelen didn't hear those sounds.
I guess not.
They do not recover one of the orbs though. So Valiance... I mean, economy is being damaged slowly but surely.
Chipping away.
KPI is grinding them down, but KPI doesn't really have much to go on in their own favor. They will force up, as is fairly traditional for the point at this side. Sorry, for the side at this point. Dear Lord.
The words.
You can see it's a Friday after a long week. Words
Yeah.
are getting confused. And nades are landing at the feet of players that would rather not have it. Mollies as well. Enemy does cop a headshot there. Valiance and Co. well on their way to possibly a 6th round.
Possibly. Though we didn't see them dealing with pistols too well in the previous 2 maps, but still they've got all the equipment and everything they need, but the distance is closing for these CZs. And there's Neno and Impulse getting themselves some kills. Impulse in a real ballsy position, and he's still fighting it as Impulse pushes through the smoke, and he gets both of them. Impulse, such an aggressive player.
Yeah, super aggressive and comes back to bite KPI big time as he pushes through the smoke once again. I mean, ran out of ammo there in that towards the end of the round, but just pulls up the USP and claps 2 guys, easy peasy. And KPI Gaming still have yet to figure out a real way to break the Valiance and Co. lockdown at the moment.
And a lockdown is a very good way to describe it. It's been barely a word in here for KPI. Only the single word, the one round. Zelen, though, has been a bit of a terror here in middle, and he knows where he is again and should get it. They need to start getting aware of that, because in some of the gun rounds, that could bite you badly, Valiance.
Yeah, it's biting them badly just as it is, because it keeps draining their economy. Letny is going to be aware. And he's not going to land the shot. Does leg him, though, so that's a great start in that fight. But Valiance and Co have gotten aggressive around B area once again, and Emenk unfortunately not able to get the kill there on Hunter, who's doing huge damage and will get killed. Zelen, the Steagle, is just doing huge amounts of damage at this point.
It's all on Zelen, though. Of course, he's got the double kill, and he needs nothing but headshots here, and they know exactly where he is. Perfect flash allows Letny to get an easy kill there. Triple kill for Hunter, but again, losing a couple of players for Valiance. 7-1 now. KPI, well, it's now or never, boys. You've got to do something.
That they do. I mean, at this point, this is a map that has been slightly favored to tease in recent times. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, either side can win this half pretty handedly and still come back on the other. So, KPI, not out of the woods as yet, but certainly is, it's starting to thin a little bit at this point because Valiants are looking very, very powerful.
Zelen?
And
Really? Okay, he gets punished for once. Hunter does get the kill. Of course, Hunter hasn't been the player at box so far. So maybe they've switched that up. Does get punished, though. Emenk can... whoa, geez, Zeki doing big work, getting himself a double. Emenk may be playing his hand a little bit too early there, but it's not going to matter. They get the kill anyway. 2 versus 1, and that turned on its head very quickly.
Yeah, all up to Letty. Now, he has been the primary AWPer on this map, which is quite interesting. I mean, generally it was given to Impulse, but he seems to have defaulted to the backup. And Letny, clearly the better player on this round. He will get the kill, but the Molly is up to the task of cooking his bones. And that will be that. Valiance lose their second round. KPI, is that the start of the comeback?
Well, it could very well be. If you look at the money for Valiance, a couple of the players now starting to run out. So, in fact, pretty much almost fully tapped here for them. So, KPI, if they can bring this one home, well, they might have Valiance on the ropes for the first time in the half.
Yeah, not much in the reservoir right now for the Serbian side as KPI once again boost over in mid. This time it's going to be a double boost
Oh,
for Hunter.
got to
He's
play
gotten
the
ahead.
Jaws music for this guy with that name and his aggression, right? And he gets the kill.
And that is going to scupper KPI's plans because now they've got 2 guys on boost. Hunter should be aware of the
Oh, the
possibility of that
flash.
flash. Zelen, good thing he could control it right to the end there. That was almost a very bad situation.
Oh.
And talking about bad situations, Valiance and Co are definitely going to find themselves in one right now. It's once again a 2 versus 1 Letny on that AWP. He wasn't able to do it last round. Can he do it on this?
Well, it takes another bite at the attempted throw there, and it's not going to matter. Zeki with a fantastic round there. His kill's highly impactful, that kill that he got there. But Zelen with the triple kill, he's an absolute terror in mid.
That he is, and I mean, Valiance haven't yet figured out a way how to deal with him. I mean, they just keep trying to fight the KPI players on occasions where it's like they have no business fighting. Like, why? You know, if Hunter goes down there, sure, great. He's gotten 2 kills at that point. You don't really need to assist him, but they push another player out mid. He goes down to Zelen as well, and at that point, they'd gotten a kill on the B site, which has been a pretty weak site in general from Valiance. The A site really hasn't been a problem at all, but Neno and Impulse just have not been capable of dealing with the pushes towards, or the heat that KPI is applying to them.
Indeed, and some heat there in the forms of the mollies coming in. Bit of a fight going on the site, but not going to be too much for the KPI to deal with it all. They deal with it quite easily in the end. That'll be another round for them, surely. Don't see these two players being able to do it, especially not when MX on the lurk there.
No.
One thing to point out here is Pizzitor actually on 0 kills at this point, which is, I guess, a little concerning.
I mean, surely that must be a mistake somehow. Does he genuinely not have any kills?
Yeah, 0, 2, and 10.
Yes. Well, I mean, that would explain why Valiance is having such a struggle then, because if one of your players is doing absolutely nothing...
Well, KPI, yes.
Sorry, KPI, what am I saying?
It's Friday, guys. We forgive Prof. It's been a long week. You were at SARS all day, weren't you, at the tax office?
The tax offices, yes. My mind is... I let my mind wander, it never came back.
It went walkabout, mate.
Yeah. Well, Valiance and Co are not going walkabout at this point. They do certainly, though, need to figure out what the hell they are doing at the B site, because it's clearly not working at this point, as KPI have multiple times been able to exploit the small site, and Hunter...
Well, I got a fright there for a second. I didn't realize it was his teammate.
I was also pretty confused. That's why I stopped mid-sentence. Like, what the hell is going on there? But a bit of aggression towards A does indeed confirm it. And the grenades are finally going to stop Zelen.
Well, look at
finally
that.
Catch a grenade. Who would have guessed?
Throw that thing, and it does a thing. Wow. So 1 minute on the clock, KPI haven't really accomplished too much, and neither really has Valiance, aside from denying some map control. But the hold here towards B incredibly passive now, so if the side take does come in towards B, which is looking likely, Valiance could be under a lot of heat with no support all that close by.
Yeah, and the problem with Valiance is that they almost never have mid control, so they never really know what's going on. KPI is just constantly able to either split through mid or just full out rush B, and there's no evidence of Valiance. Well, there's evidence of Valiance getting kills though, and that'll be the great start.
Great start for them, and they're pressuring the site as well. The smoke trying to shield those players, but they are getting the kills early on here. And Shaq getting wrecked by the player in sight. He's going to be upset. He had 2 players there to deal with it, and it just looked like the communication completely fell apart there. They were all looking in the wrong angles, and they got utterly wrecked.
Yeah, I just don't think they expected 2 players on the site, because They pushed, or they killed the one player, and then they sort of very slowly moved towards the side, expecting the play through the smoke, through tree room, and unfortunately just getting caught out there. Just the extra player in the side, I think that was Impulse, catching them off guard.
Very much so. Valiance and Co on double the score now of KPI yet again, 8-4. And B-site again seems to be the go-to here for KPI.
That it is. Hunter has, I think, dissuaded KPI from ever attempting the A take. They're actually going to push aggressively into Squeaky once again, so KPI...
There's no players in B here for the defense. They're all outside of B. I think there's only one in checkers, actually.
Yeah. I mean, given how aggressive the positioning is from Hunter already, like how far he's pushed, you'd expect that they would have already rotated. They do now have one player in vents, and flashes are coming through. They do have Neno rotating in. He's almost going to get caught with a nade in his hand. Is able somehow to find that kill. Impulse goes down to the molly though, as KPI are getting flanked. Finally, Hunter has made the play, but he's only going to get one. And this does leave Valiance in a rather terrible situation. KPI can rotate to the other side, and there's nobody holding it.
Yeah, Shaq, the point man, getting himself the information, and he'll be feeding back to his team. The problem is he is a little spread apart from them, so it is also possible that this could all fall apart if the timings don't work out. Always when you've moved through an area and you tell your teammates, hey, there's nobody here, that doesn't necessarily equal the case. Enemy now, the snake in the grass.
That he is. KPI does still have quite a bit of utility, not something that Valiance and Co can say. And that kill, ooh, it's actually pulled Valiance off the site. Could be huge, but the sounds are being made. KPI Gaming, they don't really have anything to deal with the heaven area. And Neno falls like the angel of death after killing two of their players. KPI 9-4, and they are back onto a full eco. Probably, they should be. Let's hope they be.
That was looking very promising for KPI, but it all unraveled there. The 9 HP player Neno nets the kills. And for Pizzitor, still no kills. 0-2-12. Could this be another Alex situation?
Let's hope not. It's not a situation that you want. I mean, he hasn't actually been bad over the series. I just don't think this map is really giving him much options, as he will... Well, Emek does quite a bit of damage there. We're going to find another player, and yet again, Valiance struggling against the pistols.
Jeez, yeah, the P250 is stinging them yet again. Now B-bomb side was where they're going. Neno, you need to probably drop that molly, man. And he does, but they had a big opportunity to run him down if they wanted to. There's the molly kill, but the kill through the wall. Things are going crazy in this round. Some nutty stuff here. Oh, they're actually aborting this one, boosting back out of the vents as well. So Shaq will be the man to try keep them in.
Why is Shaq with the bomb not the one boosted in?
Yeah, I don't understand that. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Maybe they didn't realize that he had the bomb, I don't know, but that is potentially a big failure for them there, because you can see how they were aborting the sites, but the last guy left, who's supposed to be the lurk, has got the bomb.
That's not a good way to play the game. And then Valiance and Co this time a lot slower to rotate. Still suspecting the KPI Gaming is in the area, although I would have probably rotated it.
Oh.
At least one player towards the middle area. Hunter goes down now. It's all up to Letney. He could get stabbed from the side. All about timings for the A player. He's pushing aggressively down highway. This could go badly. It's not going to though, and he's going to catch up. It's, gets himself a nice shot there onto Zelen, and going to prevent the bomb. Does indeed. 10-4.
Jeez, that had huge potential for going wrong, and somehow everything falls in his favor. He gets the kills and he lives.
That he does. Pizzuto, though, can state that he is no longer 0, 2, and 13.
Well, look at that.
He
gets
is 1,
a kill
2, and 13.
with the pistol. Impulse's score is wrong, though, unfortunately, because he did drop and reconnect. So, unfortunately, ESEA. It doesn't always happen, but it does happen frequently if players drop, that it resets their score. So, no idea on that one. Some of the traditional MMA main aggression coming out from Valiance. Final round of the half, of course, the KPI do need it rather desperately.
That they do. Has not been a good look for them after those 4 rounds in the early stages of the game. Valiance and Co seems to have figured out how to hold against KPI.
Oh my word, that is just so close there.
Yeah, I mean, Valiance and Co, it just seems as though KPI has lost the ability to aggressively take mid, and I don't really know why that is. Spamming through the walls, not actually going to land on anything. And finally, KPI once again getting control of mid. They've lacked a little bit of it. Or lacked, I mean, even really the attempts of late. As Hunter is going to flash.
Everybody flashed there. A lot of firing while completely blind. And eats a nade, Shaq. Just spraying around there wildly, hoping to kill something. 40 seconds on the clock now. Nobody dead yet, which is quite unusual. And it looks like they're going to be doing their traditional B-bomb site thing. It was working so well for them earlier, but it has been rather less so recently. But that's going to help Ziki getting the entry. And his entries were a feature of the site text earlier on, but they need more.
That they do. I mean, I was about to say, didn't...
Oh.
Okay, and they're going to miss the smoke as well. You only had one smoke. You could not afford to miss it like that. Splash through the smoke from Neno is going to buy him one kill, but it is going to cost him his life at the same time. Shaq holding off the rotation here, and he's going to catch enemy with something in his hands.
That's the round.
Yep. What a horrible way to lose the half.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate for them there. They had control, but just running out of time. And I was saying 40 seconds on the clock, nobody was dead yet, and a big flurry of activity, but it was too late in the round.
Far too little, far too late. And KPI Gaming, I mean, those 4 rounds, somewhat anomalous to the rest of the game, because Valiance and Co have looked very, very good on their CT side, especially the A side hold. B side was a bit of a problem, but as soon as Valiance and Co got a little bit more aggressive and were able to spot the early movements of KPI, and especially when they took mid control, just felt like the Spanish-based or the Iberians weren't really aware of how to control them from that point onwards.
Yeah, that first map very much in KPI's control, but Valiance, since we moved over to Nuke and now on Cash, have looked like it's the game overall firmly in theirs.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Valiance, I think their T side on Cobble was atrocious, to be fair.
Oh yeah,
T sides since
TT
then
they were okay, yes.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't actually needed a lot of T sides afterwards. So we now get to see can Valiance close it out on the T side. Certainly made it easier for themselves. They only needed 5 rounds, but
yeah, I think they should be able to. KPI though, they do have the strength of aim and teamwork to be able to bring it back. It's just it seems to me like when Valiance get their tails up and start playing as aggressively as we know they can, they're very hard to stop at times. I think that's probably going to burn them against some of the bigger name teams when we're talking about DreamHack, Masters Marseille in a couple weeks. But against teams that are at that level, it's a very belligerent style to have to deal with.
yeah, especially because Valiance and Co certainly does have the skill to back it up as well. So they can often get by on some, rather shaky rounds where it really is just hitting nutty shots that get them out of trouble.
Indeed, 11-4 pistol round CT side for KPI Gaming. Valiance and Co just need another 5 to round out the series. And for KPI, well, they haven't had much of a say in this match since it went to map 2, so it's probably time for them to show up.
Yeah. Train cannot afford to be late on this map.
CZ on pistol round?
I mean...
Okay, well, he
Better
does
than a
get his
Glock.
just desserts there. Gets the reply on him. And there's the... Oh, dirty shot from Ziki there. He caught a pretty big shot in return, but... well, he does get the kill, and that is going to favor the CTs here. But A bomb site now in their control, and nice molly there to deny the plant.
Yeah, the problem with the players that died for Valiance and Co is those are the 2 that had the utility. So they're going to have to plant a lot safer, a lot less easily defended. And it's going to be a hard fight. Now is where their skill cannot afford to go missing. Neno has been smoked out of A main. He cannot afford to get aggressive too early. He's going to push out at the wrong time. It's going to cost him. It's now Letney in a 1 versus 4. He's going to get the first. He's not going to get the second. And that'll be that. KPI Gaming start the round off. Sorry, start the half off in the perfect possible way.
Yeah, very much the perfect possible way. That's exactly what they needed. It was a little dicey at moments there when those early kills were being traded, but as you said, the players with the utility going down, and that made it really tough for Valiance and Co. to give themselves any elbow room to work with on the site. They were just constricted in there, and they had nowhere to go.
That they did. I mean, the problem is also sticking a player in a main is really tricky, especially if the opponents have a smoke, because he's got no way of getting out there without getting shot. And Valiance and Co had to take fights. You don't want to be in that situation on a pistol round against USPs. So very rough round for them. And it's going to be a mid rush. Shaq does eventually go down, but gets himself Letney. As once again, Hunter is burdened with a rather interesting graphical glitch.
Yeah, that's kind of weird that it's happening for both of us. So it's clearly a Go TV thing. And numbers equal. So Valiants do have a chance here potentially for a bomb plant. M-Ink though, he's the guy lurking behind the box there, but doesn't manage to kill anybody just yet and takes another bite at it and does succeed indeed and succeeds rather well in the end. Triple kill.
Got a little bit dicey there for M-Ink and Ziki, but in the end they pull through. Valiance and Co will be upset. They haven't been able to get a whole lot more, but they will be able to buy AKs now, and some damage has been dealt to the KPI Gaming economy, so they won't have a perfect buy. A couple of weak rifles in there. They will have full utility though, and that is more than can be said for Valiance and Co.
You know, I don't think we've ever casted together on a Friday, have we?
We have not, I don't believe.
Cool, now we've hit every day of the week.
That is a lie, that is a lie. Leave
It was a Friday morning, wasn't it?
oh,
was it LAN?
No.
I was talking about an online cast, you know. But
Oh no.
we did do a LAN on a Friday, yes. I'm silly me. Neno getting quite aggressive there with that angle on spraying through the little roller door there, but doesn't find too much. And for Valiance, well, not a ton of nades to work with, so they're going to need those AKs to find some headshots.
That is indeed the case as KPI Gaming. Also starting off early in the half with that boost, just getting it out of the way. It tends to only be used once or twice in a half. So. Neno.
That was really close. It looked like he was on him, but doesn't find the kill. And that player dancing around there is going to cause him some consternation, including the nade being dropped there, the molly denying him any control.
The ESEA player in the shroud spot, so you don't want that to happen. Bazuta's bad run of luck continues as he gets spammed through the door down to 40 HP.
Yeah, he's really struggled on this particular map, and he had some really good moments on Cobble particularly, but just not having any luck here so far. And Valiant's starting to run out of time a little bit, so they do need to get on those jet shoes. And there's Shaq in the boost that classically Nico always likes, but the NBK position for Bazuta, and he's going to be put down in short order. The bomb plant will come in. There is a numbers disadvantage here for KPI Gaming. They do have some utility to potentially get themselves into a position here for this retake. And through the smoke, M-Ink.
Yeah, huge damage being dealt there by M-Ink, as he also does spot one of the other players. He's actually going to kill off the player. That means enemy is in a 1 versus 3. Can he do it? He needs the first kill. Gets the first, gets the second. 12 HP, and he's not going to move fast enough. Ziki is able to clean it up, and that'll be a defuse. KPI gets himself to 7 rounds. Valiance and Co threw that. Oh, I wouldn't say threw that round away, but we'll feel that round was theirs for the taking.
Oh, you got to say the hero of that was definitely M-Ink. The fact that he got that kill through the smoke, managed to pick up the guy in Squeaky, that brought the numbers back towards their favor. And from there, enemy with the heroics, that spray transfer was rather flashy, but not enough.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Just took too much damage in the end, and just got tapped out at the end. So Valiance and Co struggling a little bit on their own T side here. As Neno is the man with the deagle. Valiance and Co just don't seem to have any real intention of ever using mid, though. They did it on the second round, but haven't done it since.
Yeah, that is kind of curious about them, but there's the kill coming in, and woo, almost another. 46 HP in the spray on the angle. I like that angle as well. It's an easy way to get kills through the smoke. Just see ahead there, and Neno. I wouldn't bet against him, but possibly landing a headshot, yeah. But not going to happen. Zelen says no, and it's just on impulse.
And Pazuta gets his second kill. So, in the end, KPI Gaming easily dealt with the, semi-force from Valiance and Co, the anti-eco, but Valiance now do have their big guns out. The AWP is on impulse, and this is going to be a man that much is expected of. He's been very quiet this game, needs to be on hand to do some damage, because otherwise I think Valiance and Co will be very, very short on the firepower end of the equation.
Yeah, it has been quiet, and we saw in that first half as well, he wasn't the man of the AWP. I think it was Letney who was AWPing, which is unusual considering he tends to be the guy doing, well, the carrying of the biggest gun, basically.
Yeah.
Guy with the strong arms, and he shoots most things as well.
Boost from both sides. Hunter is almost certainly going to get gunned here. Does he get gunned?
He does. Jiki there getting himself a kill and falling off with no repercussions whatsoever.
Well, he's could get caught out here. Flashes are going to save him though, and that'll be that.
Well,
KPI rotates 4 players into A side.
Anticlimactic, to say the least. But a
Very.
foot should be spotted here, and being shot in the heel, Pazuta gets himself the kill, and perfect flash as well. That's going to round it out, and it's all on enemy now. 1v5. Certainly a good player, and he is going to find himself the first, and nearly finds the second as well. But that is another round for KPI Gaming, and they don't want to die in this. They don't want to go out in the playoffs. They want to keep alive.
Yeah, and at the moment that train is bearing down on Valiance and Co. It's fast running out of time and rounds in order to play with to get themselves to victory. Valiance and Co have not looked good on this T side. Generally just sort of devolves into trying to take vague aim deals, a couple of smokes and flashes here. Although I will give them the benefit of the doubt that last round where Jiki was boosted, they couldn't have expected that. So outside of that round, the Valiance has looked ill at ease on the east side of most maps.
Yeah, definitely a weakness for them, and well, through the smoke, gets the through and through. Double kill with one shot. Always appreciated when you're an AWPer, and they're not even going to get... Oh, I was going to say, not going to get a single kill. Impulse does get it, but it's not going to hurt in any way, and it was with the CZ, so he got $100 for his trouble.
Yeah. One of the many nerfs to the CZ over the years, despite it being still stupidly overpowerful.
You're just jealous that you don't know how to use it.
I do know how to use it, it's just terrible. It's just a stupid gun.
You sound like Nip from 2014, man. Like, we're not going to
No.
use the CZs because
That's
they're
because
stupid.
they were bad with it in relative to their peers.
Yeah.
I just think the CZ is a stupid gun because it's so overpowered.
I think you should be able to dual wield it. No answer
Say no
on that
more.
one.
Say no more.
No, I really don't think that that would be stupid. Can you just imagine that?
Don't want to imagine that. It's really horrible to think about.
Geez, 4 spies would never be the same again. But yeah, Valiance and Co. Well, they were looking odds on for victory here, and they were showing a clean pair of hills to their opponents in KPI Gaming. And now KPI Gaming have bitten them on the hill and won't let go.
Yep. 6 rounds in a row. Spaniards, or the Spanish-based team, are very, very quickly catching up to Valiance and Co. And there's not a lot left in it at the moment. Round 7 of the second half, as KPI Gaming will be looking to equal it up and then go into the lead in the near future.
Well, I think for Valiance, probably a large issue here is they have built up somewhat of a reputation as a team that sort of punches above their weight, you know, having done so well in the DreamHack Marseille qualifiers. So, and also that they had a pretty good run in Copenhagen games as well. So, if they were to lose here, well, some of that mystique could be broken. And SiteTech coming in here, Enemy and Co, being held off by all this utility out of... Ooh, look at that shot from Letney before the trade comes in. And the trade's favouring the T slightly here. Hunter just clinging on to the last tendrils of life. And they should get the bomb plant in here. No nades to deny that from KPI Gaming. Last time their retake was really on point. What can they offer now?
Yeah, KPI did get a little bit lucky the last time. They're not going to get lucky now. Jiki goes down and makes the last remaining player for the CT side. He's going to get a little bit of help there with that smoke, as it will cut off a number of the angles, but it is going to push him directly into Impulse. And Impulse doesn't miss many times with that AWP, and he's certainly not going to miss there.
Indeed, good to see Impulse getting involved in the game as well. Of course, the score was reset because he disconnected, so he doesn't actually have 6 kills. He's definitely got more than that, but it has felt like he's been quite quiet. Neno's been the guy who's shown up in the big rounds for Valiance and Co, but just overall feeling a little bit muted from them. They are in the lead, but KPI is certainly feeling the stronger of the two teams in this half.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Impulse is that he didn't even AWP on the CT side. He AWPed, I think, 1 or 2 rounds. When he died, he never got the AWP again. So, Shaq, well, he's certainly not going to allow enemy a second chance in this round, as KPI Gaming start things off well. They're running double AWPs, and they're going to get themselves a second Shaq with the same procedure.
Oh, Pizzita decapitates Letney as well, so definitely deciding that particular player's head is surplus to requirements. Valiance and Co, they're left with 2 players. What to do, and well, it doesn't feel like they can do a whole lot.
I mean, I'd almost call a save at this point. It's not a hell of a lot they can do. I think pushing the game any further, or pushing their luck any further, isn't going to work out. Hunter will go down, and I mean, Impulse is the last remaining player. If they go down here, they got almost no money. Valiance is in severe dire straits.
Yeah, this is disastrous for them, and well, I think Impulse can probably get himself a kill, but more than a kill or 2, I don't know, an AWP in a 1v5, it doesn't happen a lot. There's the opening at least. Is aware that the player could be towards NBK, but he's going to overstep his bounds a little bit, peeking out a bit too far. And Shaq with the triple. That is another for KPI Gaming.
Started the round for his team and ended the round for his team. Very, very well played there by Shaq, as Valiance and Co will be forcing up given the economic situation, but I haven't seen enough from them this map to really say I have any actual confidence in them. It really has just felt like if they hit shots, great, they'll probably get into, they'll have a chance in a round, but they just don't have the ability to grind out rounds. And that is very, very worrying against a KPI team that is matching them and exceeding them in terms of firepower this game.
Yeah, KPI definitely the team that is showing that ability to grind if need be. Ooh, that nade. Dropping Impulse, and there's another follow-up as well. So, but the entry going towards VNC. So VNC, Valiance and Co are in there. There's the return from a couple of players here. They will get the plant, but I don't have confidence in the side take because they're facing a huge numerical disadvantage. And he's going to bump into another player there. The smoke clearing at the wrong moment. And Pizzita, he was so quiet in that first half, but in the second half, he's really come into his own.
That he has, and I mean, there was a song in the movie Sound of Music which was I Have Confidence in Me, but unfortunately Neno is not going to be the one singing that song right now.
He's probably too young to know that song, to be fair.
Probably.
The Sound of Music, the Von Trapp family and Julie Andrews.
Yes.
Wow. How do I even remember that?
What are they? They're making a sequel to... What is the other song? Mary Poppins. They've made a sequel to Mary Poppins. Let's hope they never make a sequel to Sound of Music. That would just be atrocious. Or a remake.
Well,
either way.
I thought I saw the sequel to Mary Poppins in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but, he was Mary Poppins, y'all, but there's running through the smoke. Didn't need an umbrella to get over those flames. 3v3 right now. Valiance and Co, well, they've got the site, potentially, but the fire raining in and holding them at bay a little bit, and they don't have anything with which to cross.
No, this is a mistake. It's a similar mistake to the one that they made on Cobblestone. They just took very, very long to get the bomb down. They will finally get it down now, and that will initiate the afterplant situation, but low on utility. Not something you can say for KPI, as Hunter could get burnt out of situation, will get burnt out of position now, as Zelen with the late lurk through the vents. He could catch Impulse here depending on how his timings work out. Zuta.
I was going to say, how did he not hit him? But on the second buy, he does. And he's going to go in and find another before getting traded off. All on Impulse with the Deagle. And he's not going to be long for this world. He is gone. And they've got the time as well, and the kits.
And it's getting very dark days for the Valiance and Co side right now. As an 11-4 half lead has turned into a 13-12 deficit. It is not a good situation. Valiance and Co just clearly have no idea how to play the T side of this map. They just, I mean, that was the first time I think that they'd gotten onto B in quite a while. Generally, they've gone strictly A. On occasion, they've tried to do something in mid, but other than that, it's been almost purely A.
Maybe we're seeing why the European teams don't play a lot of cash, because both of them definitely looking unprepared on the T side. And, well, not good. From Sol in chat, he says you're an OG, Prof.
Am I an OG?
The throwback.
Throwbacks to what, though, is the question.
Oh, we were talking about the Von Trapp family and the Sound of Music
Oh.
and Mary Poppins, man. How can you forget?
I'm old, I guess. Oh, Valiance and Co now going to attempt a mid push for the first time in what seemed like forever. Impulse will be backing up his 2 boost spot players. Molly's out on the vents, Flash is out through mid, and
Oh, my
massive
word, the
control.
fire.
And the Molly is going to absolutely ruin Valiance and Co. They're going to have 2 players going over, both on less than 50 HP.
Jeez, Molly on Molly there. And damage stacking up rather negatively against the Valiance and Co HP totals. So they have got a bit of mid control, but they paid a heavy price for it indeed.
That they did. It's not looking great. Enemy is going to be assisting the B take, so it is going to be split B site. Nano just making noise, trying to convince KPI that it is in fact
Huge
an A play.
telegraph though.
Yeah, I mean he's done a pretty decent job. Though Emenk is going to do more than his task required of him as he gets 2
No
kills,
smokes.
and yeah, now it gets harsh for Valiance.
Jeez, Valiant's
Hunter goes
playing the game on hard mode, aren't they?
Certainly does feel like it is. Neno is the last remaining player. He's got nothing but an AWP and some armor, and he will go down. And I mean, KPI Gaming, they played well. I mean, let's not take anything away from them, but this is, I think, atrocious is probably the best word to describe what Valiance and Co's T side on this map has looked like.
Something quite atrocious.
Expialidocious.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But hey, 14-12. KPI Gaming in a really good position, and you kind of got to feel, oh, there's a little bit of a standoff going. Yeah, he does spot the ass and shoots it.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you are crouched in, your view model or your character model is slightly wider. Valiants are going to get burnt out, so taking huge amounts of damage. Jiki is not aware of the player crossing. He is now. He probably didn't suspect it. Probably thought he might have killed the player. It's not going to work out this time as he gets a 3rd bite at the cherry, and that's more than enough to complete it. Nano just watching the angle for his team. He needs to hit the shot if it does come. He does indeed do so. But KPI Gaming still in a solid situation. Impulse gets Jiki 2 versus 3 at the moment. And Valiance and Co could, for the very first time in very, very long, win a round. Emenk playing up close with that AWP. He doesn't actually realize that Letny is on the angle. Pazuta now, a man who struggled heavily in the first half, is aware of the possibility. Will spot the flash coming through, and that has bought Impulse enough time to move.
So almost an impossible situation for KPI to come back into, and well, I think they've got the money to do it if they really want to, but well, unless they find an early kill, then they're not going to be able to, and they're not going to find an early kill. They're going to find headshots from Impulse. And Emek, I'm kind of surprised that he's still holding this angle.
I'm surprised he's still in the area at this point. 18 HP, only got an AWP. I mean, he should be long gone by now. As Valiance and Co have broken the broken the streak, as it were.
Oh, Sol making an interesting observation there. You were pointing out why crouching, makes your character model more visible. He says when you watch SSES, it's crouch peeking, which you do see quite a lot. Orpers and SA do like to yield crouch peek. I in fact favor it myself.
Most top-level AWPers do crouch peek into certain angles, which is why you'll see if there's an AWP deal going down in a certain area, they'll tend to hold an angle where as soon as you crouch peek, you can hit a body shot. That's why you'll often see inexperienced AWPers at the top level tend to like aim slightly higher. So if you crouch peek, you actually end up under their scope, and that can buy you enough time to get the shot off.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's a great thing with the rifle anymore. I mean, it was a huge habit of mine and a lot of players who came from 1.6. You know, you would just crouch every time you sprayed. I'm happy to say now, 3 years after I was an active player, I don't really see a lot of that anymore from players. But even the top level players used to do it. When you watched, any of the guys in the top teams, they would do it too. But if you watch now, it's largely gone because there is no real advantage to it. I guess you could crab walk with an AK, but why would you?
Why not? KPI, aggression again, and Shaq is going to get punished. Can't try that trick too many times, my friend, and the grenade is going to get him to safety. As Valiance and Co look to try and bring the game back to even. Oh, Shaq needed to hit that if he wanted to have any chance in this round. That molly is going to burn him out of position though. They aren't aware of the second player on the side though.
So
Valiance
Shaq.
and Co hits that shot blind, as Bazuta is not going to be aware of anything that's going on. Letney though certainly is. 3 versus 4. Valiance and Co looking solid for a round here. They haven't actually dealt with the player in... Oh, now they do. Zelen goes down.
It's like they're listening, but CT's now going to save. And you got to say for Shaq, that first shot that he missed, it looked like he shot in between the fingers of that player holding the nade or something. That looked really close. He does get the kill through the smoke, of course, but had he hit the first shot, I think the side take would have been far less viable for Valiant.
Yeah, because that was I think that was the player throwing the cross smoke as well. So if Valiance was relying on the timing of that smoke to go up, that kill almost certainly shuts them down for a good 10-15 seconds.
Well, Saul getting more into the theory craft in chat there. Yeah, good points, but yeah, well, greater point, however, is how did it get to this point for KPI? Valiance looked utterly clueless, and now KPI scraping together pennies to try to get a buy here.
Yeah, I mean, Valiance has just gotten to the point where I think like they've started hitting a couple of, or just landing a couple of shots. As you can see, they are much more confident in taking mid right now, whereas that before it was basically just a no-go territory. You would never even see Valiance really attempt mid if they aren't massively at an advantage. KPI Gaming at this point. Well, they had an AWPer. He's no longer on the map, so they're doing what they can. Valiance and Co are up against pistols. They haven't looked great against them for the umpteenth time, as we have to say.
Oh, geez, yeah, tired of saying it as well. But it is the reality. You do have to remind people, especially when you may not have been watching since the beginning. And of course, if you hadn't been watching since the beginning, KPI won their map pick easily in the beginning, as Zelen easily wins that pistol duel as well. And even more easily did Valiance overcome KPI on map 2, which was Nuke, weirdly enough.
Zelen has an AWP. This could go very badly for Neno if they're not aware of the possibility. Smoke will go down. Does Zelen hit the timing shot? No, he actually jumps. Takes the higher angle.
Oh, and he shoots him through the door. That was dirty stuff. But there is the trade. Pizzata gets it. Hunter now in a good position to potentially punish them. But there's a lot of movement coming out from the CTs here, and the movement is not going to favor them. It's identifying their position. And Jiki gets one, but he's not going to get both. That puts Valiance on map and match point. And after Valiance won the first half so comprehensively, KPI took it away from them. And now somehow Valiance are in the lead again.
Yeah, they are at match and map point. Valiance and Co have it all. Well, don't have all to do. They just got to win one round and get themselves to the next round. KPI though will feel that they have probably thrown a great attempt to win this game away. As I don't know, they've just sort of gone to pieces. Haven't taken the right fights. Gotten into shaky situations. Taken a little bit too long to decide to save. And in the end, it has come to bite them in the backside, as Valiance and Co finally came alive in the second half. And
what's up with that gun model? You see Zelen it looked from that angle like he wasn't holding a gun at all.
CSGO things, I guess.
I guess so. We've had a few weird sort of errors on the Go TV feed tonight, but well, it is no error. Valiance and Co are actually in the lead. If you were watching a few minutes ago and you came back, well, it probably didn't look so good for Valiance, but now on map and match point, KPI need the round to take it to overtime. This is the third map, so there aren't any more chances after this. They need it to go to overtime, and for Valiance, they're going to want to close this out and do it sharpish.
They are actually going to make the correct decision on which which site to attack, but Shaq has a, he's the linchpin in this round. He's sitting on that boost spot. If he gets more than one kill, he is perfectly set to win the round for his team, but he needs to get at least one, and he's not even going to do that. And Valiance right now well favored to win the round. The smokes, the flashes, everything is coming in as KPI rotate early, and the fights are going the way of KPI right now. Valiance and Co struggles to get in. They get a second one, they get a third, and in comes Emenk. He's holding that close angle. It's a 1 versus 1. Impulse versus Emenk, both AWPer, and I think Emenk is aware of the possibility. Actually, Impulse was swapped out! And Impulse wins the round for his team. He wins the game for his team. Impulse finally coming alive. We'd mentioned so many times that he hadn't done enough as yet, and he finally pulls off the round that we knew he was capable of since the beginning.
Utter mayhem in that site. It looked like it was going to go to overtime, and Impulse happened. He gets the last kill, and that is that, folks. So, the win in the series, the playoff round 2 match here between KPI and Valiance and Co. Valiance are going to get it, but geez, it was ever so close, and some exciting CS on this map.
Yeah, super exciting CS there from both teams as KPI just, run up a grid lead and then just sort of fall apart, much like Valiance and Co had done up until that point. So, both teams will be very upset with how they played. I don't think either team will be happy with how Cash went, but at the end of the day, Valiance walk out the victors, and KPI go home with nothing. So there's nothing they can do. Next season, I guess.
Yeah, next season indeed. So Valiance stay alive in the competition. Of course, it was a bracket of 32 teams. That is a huge playoff bracket. We'll be going to round 3 next week, and of course, we'll also be trying to bring you some of the South African ESEA stuff as well. Unfortunately, timing didn't work out because I had to do the IGN podcast, the first episode, and it kind of overlapped with the ESEA playoffs, so it just was not possible. So hopefully next week, myself and Penguin will do some of that. Prof and I will try to do some more EU stuff next week as well, and there are some Bravado games as well. I do believe Bravado is also playing in a DreamHack qualifier this weekend too, so maybe...
Yes, there should be.
Let's see if that's been casted. Hopefully we get to follow the team there, guys. They're also playing in the ESEA main North America playoffs as well. If the games aren't 3 o'clock in the morning, we'll try to bring them to you, but so far they keep being scheduled for 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we might come back to do the VODs, but at this moment it doesn't seem likely. So otherwise, guys, thanks very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night and your Saturday morning and your Saturday night.
Indeed. Have a good one. Cheers.